a lot of farmers don't want their kids to become farmers.
जो फार्मर के बच्चे हैं वो फार्म लैंड पे काम करना ही नहीं चाहते, वो जा रहे हैं बाहर.
The agri demography is very different compared to the rest of the world in India.
Maybe because of the Hindu Succession Act of 2005, because if the grandfather had 100 acres of land, he had 4 children and 25.
I was just on to digest the fact that TaxiForSure is getting acquired by Ola, right? I was just not to take it. I did multiple roles. I was a CTO, became a sales guy, I became a farmer sourcing guy, became a logistics guy. Over a period of time, like became a city head of Bangalore, then became a CEO of a company. When I got to know Raghu's quitting, I didn't think twice. I'll resign. I'll also quit.
When you move from convenience to value, and when you were saying that I will provide you cheaper goods, where was that margin coming from?
We have a team called category team, which actually does this work, right? They are able to negotiate with, like, say, I'll pay you, like, say, only like 5 rupees per kilogram. This took us from 60 tons to 100 tons. At 100 tons, our logistics broke.
Last 4 years, you went ahead and solved the supply chain and this problem, and now you're solving the trust problem.
For the first 5 years, right, we only solved the wastage problem. It's a supply chain problem, right? So that's when we understood we should not compete with the middlemen.
What NinjaCart does at this point of time?
I think one learning there, right? If I give more money, people will do extra work. But one thing what I understood about the community of drivers is I will never work 12 hours or 14 hours.
So maybe you can tell me a couple of innovations, recent innovations, and how you have gotten those innovations.
You can split them into 3 types of there's crops, there's dairy, there's seafood. Seafood, poultry and all of that, right? So crops alone is $300 billion space in that.
300 globally.
India. 300 billion space, right? And less than 5% is imported into India, less than 10% is exported out of India, which means, right, it's self-sufficient market. 90% of India's production leads to self-consumption, right?
Right.
And at NinjaCard, we focus on India domestic problem, predominantly. We have our certain future bets we're working on, like, say, for imports, exports and all that, but like, say, again, for the last 9 years, we put our heads down and we focus on Indian domestic market.
Because market is so large.
So large. A lot of opportunities are there. How do you really innovate and solve for it, right? And it's very highly untapped. The number of, if you look at, like, say, banking space, if you look at retail space, if you look at, like, say, healthcare, there are a lot of public market companies which are very large, right? But, like, say, if you look at Agri, the number of companies which are very large public market companies in Agri are very less. So it's a very, I mean, it's a opportunity. I mean, a lot of opportunities are there, right? That's a advantage we sit at. And one of the fundamental reasons why I believe, like, say, the kind of innovation that happened other spaces in India, in Agri, does not happen in the same tune.
Why?
I strongly feel the Agri demography is very different compared to the rest of the world in India. So in India, okay, in US, for example, right, you will see, like, a lot of concentrated farmers, like industrial farmers. Every farmer, the average landholding is roughly, like, say, 180 hectares.
That's because of the Hindu Succession Act of 2005, because if the grandfather had 100 acres of land, he had 4 children and 25. Then the father will have 3 children, 25 will again break in, but there it does not happen like that. So the land sizes are very big. Is it one of the reasons?
Again, see, India by nature, again, our history is a bit different. Like, say, right from day one, like, say, our population was lived in the higher side, so we always had, like, say, more people, like, say, taking a share of the land, and that's the reason. So if our system is still getting fragmented, right? That's where we are at. Okay, so our average landholding per farmer is 1 hectare. 1 hectare. Okay, in US it's 180 hectares. It's world difference, right? Like, it's a crazy difference. This on the production side. On the consumption side, again, 90-95% of US consumption happens through organized large format stores like Walmart, Costco, all that, right? In India, again, 90-95% happens through small time kirana stores. You'll see in the mom and pop stores in all gully, right? That's how it happens. Fundamentally, it's different. You have fragmented farmers on one side, selling to fragmented retailers on the other side. If you look at other Western nations, right, you have, like, say, organized farmers selling to organized retailers.
Right.
Okay. So you can't apply
any US model or any.
You can't take that. If, for example, like, say, Uber worked in US, you apply that in India in a format of, like, say, Ola, TaxiForSure, and also Uber also worked here, right? You take Amazon in US, this prepared in India. Now, again, see, everybody innovated for India. They customize for India. I'm not denying that, right? I'm sure, like, say, if Flipkart didn't innovate on cash on delivery, it wouldn't have been what it is today, right? Similarly, like, say, Ola had its own thing to do. So every company learned something from the rest of the world. They applied here, or that's always there. It's just that it was a bit more different for us because the ecosystem was very completely opposite, right? We have to truly innovate for India.
So fragmented demand and fragmented supply.
Fragmented supply.
आपने सबसे पहले किस प्रॉब्लम को अटैक करा, डिमांड को या सप्लाई को?
We start with demand. So because our space is very, very unique, okay, and we can't like say blindly copy from somebody else who's done something in the rest of the world, we have to truly innovate for India. Got it, right? Now within NinjaCard, we are in fact multiple opportunities in the space in Agri, right? We can solve for wastage, we can solve for trust. These are all multiple vectors on which we can solve for. So as a company, right, we believe that there are more vectors on which we can solve for Agri. For example, information is another vector in which we believe we can solve for in the future. Now, why I'm saying all of this, when we find these vectors, how are you going to try your PMF? How are you going to start, right? You will have some machinery of yours which is already scaled up.
Which is a cash cow for you.
Yeah. For example, our farm to retail business, we buy from farmers, sell to retailers, fruits and vegetables, right? That business is profitable for us in Bangalore. We're replicating, we're scaling that, right? Now, that business is in a scale-up mode now, right? But there's another business which today in a zero-to-one phase. Now, I cannot apply the same philosophies and principles I have for the way I'm handling the 10 to 100 business to a business which is in the zero-to-one state. Just break things, be agile, just keep innovating, right? But at some point, you'll get to a state where, okay, you build something, preserve that, conserve that, don't screw up with that.
Right.
If you have a cash cow, let it work. Do incremental innovations. Don't go on to change everything pan-India in one day, right? Don't do that, right? I think it's all built for a reason, okay? But now, how do you like say make sure that like you promote both in the company? That in a skill in a 10 to 100 business, we will have structures. It might take a day or two for approvals to come through because any decision that we take is going to like have a crore level impact.
Right.
On the other hand, in a zero-to-one business, I'll say, dude, you have a budget, 20 lakh budget you have, just do, man. Just decide, just go ahead. Okay, don't even wait. Don't wait. I mean, rather like say do that. If something went wrong, we'll discuss later. Don't waste. Don't wait and waste your time, right? How do you get people to embrace both those cultures
at the same time in the same organization?
Yeah.
But teams are different, no? You can build different teams. The different teams will have different DNA.
See, okay. Let's say teams are different. Now, when you design a new policy in the company, okay. For example, let's say HR team designs a policy, okay. Now, will they design a policy? They should be clear that I'm going to design two policies for two different teams, and generally it doesn't work that way.
Right, because approval structure for the company will be same.
Correct. They'll say like, make me trip, like say today we have a make me trip, my bus we use. Now like say, then like say, will they say, okay, we have some budgets and all that. If something crosses a budget, like say you ought to get your manager's approval. This I will do in a scaled organization. If there is 500 members running in one business unit, there all those approval structures required. But if it's another team which has only 10 members, there I don't really care. I just want them to be agile, right? But it's not. This is a small example I'm talking about, right? Say everywhere this will come through. For example, like say we have this session called Pitch Stop. Okay, it's a feed forward conversation, right? So every 6 months, right? We have this session called Pitch Stop where a manager sits with their team members and gives has a conversation about what's your what do you want, like say what's their aspiration, right? You know, okay, this is the session where I expect people to understand, like, say, what are the career goals of somebody. Okay, because the career goals, if somebody has to go to the career goals,
you have to align.
It should be that unless they get business opportunities to demonstrate that, and unless they demonstrate new skill sets. See, it's a combination of like their business performance and their skill sets demonstration, right? As and when, like, say, a person keeps demonstrating more and more skill sets, they keep getting to grow in their career, okay? And it's not just demonstrating skill sets, also, like, say, performance has to come through in the business that they're running as well, right? It's a combination of both. This I strongly believe in the philosophy of like say feed forward instead of feedback. So don't like say sit at the end of the year and say like say if you're having a conversation with your reportee for the first time at the end of the year and saying that this is the rating I'm going to you, bro. You did only this. Hence this is what I'm rating you at. And if the other person disagrees, right? It's actually a waste of time for both of them and for the organization. Okay. The best thing would be fit at the beginning of the year and have a conversation about like say what your aspiration is. Are we both aligned on your aspiration? If that's the case, like say, this is the opportunity that we're looking at for this year. Are we aligned on this opportunity? You get to demonstrate these skills. You get like say, do this performance outcome. All of this conversation again, what I'm trying to tell you is, this is built in, which will work for a large organization. When I say a 10 to 100, because there are like say 500 members in the team, you're like say, you don't get to converse with them on a daily basis. Right, like say your span of control also, like every manager will will handle like say at least 8 people, right? You will have the absolute span, right? There having this conversations like say in a very structured manner becomes important. On the other hand, again a very small team, which is like sitting and trying to figure out and innovate, right? The team only is a 5-member team. Okay, they're most probably the level at which they'll be working with each other on a daily basis. I don't see any reason of like say them having this taking a pit stop and having this feed-forward conversation once in 6 months, right? Mostly they'll be having very daily interactions where they'll be having very meaningful conversations, right? So I'm saying the structures that we build in a company beyond a point, it will not be the it's very difficult to balance to keep promoting both. But that's exactly what we're trying to do.
Got it. This is very insightful. Help me understand what NinjaCart does at this point of time. What all business verticals do you have? How much of which business vertical, is what percentage of total business?
So roughly, say we have like say internally we use these languages, right? We have 2 business units. We have like say fulfillment business unit and marketplace business unit.
Okay.
So one of the fundamental in fulfillment business unit where we buy from farmers, sell to retailers, end to end, right? That's roughly like say so we sell to retailers, we sell to enterprises. Both put together is roughly say 50% of the business, and the 50% of the business is the marketplace business, right?
Okay.
So marketplace. So imagine like say for you to visualize, right? What fulfillment is, what marketplace is. Assume in Zomato's case, you're a consumer. Now if you order from Zomato, an item gets delivered to your doorstep. Assume that's delivery. That's fulfillment. Right. Okay. Assume you're using Zomato Gold. You're discovering the list of restaurants in your area, figuring out which is giving the best deal today, going there and dining in, right? That's a Zomato Gold solution. It's more of a dine-in solution, right? Similar to that, for our users, for the retailers, kiranas, we give 2 types of solution. One, they get to order, they get to choose the list of SKUs, order, and next day morning the item gets delivered to the doorstep. We do all the things in the backend to ensure that we procure from the farmers or aggregated multiple set of people, and we get the item delivered to their doorstep, right?
Retailer's doorstep.
Kirana's doorstep.
So it's B2B commerce.
We are only a B2B company today. We are not a B2C company at all. Yeah, we are probably B2B commerce, right? This is on the fulfillment side.
Got it.
On the marketplace side, we enable the kiranas to go to the traditional markets, the physical markets out there, right? You're from where? Bombay, Jaipur. So Jaipur market, like say Bombay mein Vashi market, Bangalore mein like say Yeshwanthpur market. So there are physical markets.
APMC Mandi.
APMC Mandis, yeah. So we let our users go to the APMC Mandi and discover the best set of discover which trader selling which SKU at which price point, who's selling at the cheapest price point that day. We enable the users to buy from those traders with credit. So that's a pickup solution basically, right? So there's a fulfillment solution, there's a marketplace solution. One is designed for delivery and is designed for pickup.
Got it. So as a retailer, I have 2 options.
Yeah.
Either I can tell you ki just fulfill my need, or I'll just come and collect. You give me that discoverability of all the things.
So because like say, I'm already going to the market. I've decided to go to the market. But when I go to the market, generally before NinjaCart, right? If somebody has to go to the market, so have you been to any APMC market? So assume that like, so let me give you this feeler, right? So assume that like some 400, 500 traders sitting in the market. Okay, multiple lanes. You don't have time also to go and negotiate with all the 500 people, right?
Right.
So generally what you do is like say you go and like say negotiate with some 20, 30 people. You understand like what's the going rate, and then you'll go to your 5, 6 traders that you know of finally, and usually work with them because they'll also give you some credit.
Right.
Okay, that's how the system works. At NinjaCart, now what do we do is like say we curate the information amongst the 400 traders, right? Assume there are like say 100 traders on the platform. We figure out like say who's selling a particular SKU at the cheapest price point today. We curate that and we drive that. We get more of our retailers to go and like buy from those traders. Right. So that way, for those sellers, like say it's a good growth, and for our retailers, it's a better price. And on top of it, we also like say enable them with credit. So that way, it just like seals the deal.
Got it. And in the fulfillment model, you also provide credit?
Very few cases, but majority is cash and carry.
Why don't you provide any?
So because like say majority of our business there is designed on perishables.
Okay.
So okay, again this I gave you this context of the $300 billion space is crops, right? In the initial journey, right? $300 billion, like say $100 billion is fruits and vegetables, $200 billion is staples. Okay. In that $100 billion of fruits and vegetables, roughly like say I would say, so 30 billion is like say vegetables, which is perishables. 30 billion is like say non-perishables, like say onions, potatoes, ginger, garlic. Another like say 40 billion would be like say fruits. All right. In this, all the $30 billion of all the staples are largely non-perishables. Got it, right?
Atta, dal, chawal.
All of that, right? So you got the split now. So the $30 billion of vegetables are generally locally grown. it's grown within the 200 kilometers radius of Bangalore. Let's put it this way, or any city.
जो चावल हम यहाँ बैंगलोर में खा रहे हैं वो
Not chawal, perishables, right? Like tomatoes,
Yes, of
cucumber,
course.
all of that. Okay.
Got it.
It just can't travel a longer distance. It'll they become spoiled, right?
Got it.
So generally, what happens is all the perishables. Our fulfillment business makes a lot more sense because it's a daily rotation business for them. Every day the retailer buys, every day the retailer sells. There is no need for him to
store. He can't store, no? It's perishable.
Exactly. So then there's no need of it also because like say I buy today, I sell today.
Right.
For cash flows, like say the same day, right? I'm not. Cash flow is required only
when the working cycle is
exactly
right, huge.
So generally, our non-perishables, like say, our retailers use our fulfillment solution for getting the perishables delivered to the doorstep, and they use our marketplace solution largely to buy non-perishables like fruits or onion potato. There they would need some credit, and we give them that.
Because their storage is happening.
They store for like say 3 days, 7 days. So we don't give credit as we give a 7-day credit or 14-day credit. That's it. We don't like give credit for like say years, ages, right? No, we are not a. So our model is on like say trading. We enable the sellers to sell more to the buyers, right? Or buyers to buy from sellers. And the credit is given to enable that. So it's a 7-day free credit we give for the buyers.
What was your first project? And even before that, what were certain interesting projects that you were a part of in TaxiForSure?
So I was a guy into robotics, hacking and all that in college. So we came up with something called hack-proof authentication system, and we tried to apply a patent on that idea and all that, right? A version of that idea is getting implemented today by few companies, right? I've seen that.
Who are these companies?
No, version of the idea. I'm saying that I think traditionally, like say the way, okay, there is an idea which was trying to like prevent if somebody there's an attack called man in the middle attack. Somebody can be in the middle, intercept your messages and understand like say what you're sending through, right? And the multiple ways to secure that. So we had our own like way of like say simplifying that, right? Back then, the point is like, we had the idea, we applied for a patent, but I felt like say okay, no, all that is okay, but even if we get the patent, I don't know how to build a business out of it. I want the unless you see, it's not about like having great ideas. It's about like say seeing the users finally use that idea, right? Use the solution, and that's when I felt like say this is seems very bit theoretical to me. Like say unless I figure out a way to make people build a business around it, say, then I'm not really. It's not fun. Okay, for me, I come from a middle class background, so I always relate with like say building mass scale brands. I want to create a large scale impact, right? What motivates me? Like create impact for the masses. That's what like say motivates me, right? So I feel like say I do not know how to pull it off. One of my seniors recommended like say then you should do an MBA. That's how
IIM Ahmedabad happened.
Between like say GRE, CAT and all that. Like say did CAT and like say went to IIM Ahmedabad, right? 1 year in IIM Ahmedabad was just a bit hectic.
Yes, the grind you like.
The grind, really.
You don't sleep.
All of that, like say. But end of 1 year, went to Microsoft, did my internship there, okay?
Okay.
That's when I felt, I was put in a Microsoft Visual Studio team and I was trying to like, do things there. But I felt the pace at which I get to learn here will not be fast unless I'm put in a zero-down project. You get the point, right? So in Microsoft, I got a team which is actually a 10 to 100 idea. Or even, I would say like 100,000 idea. That's a business, right? They were market leaders, all of that. So the speed at which they were trying to do things was very, very different, right? Unfortunately, during my PPO conversation, I said like, say, can I get into a team like Bing? Something where you're building
very nascent,
and at that point, because of like, say, we cannot guarantee you now. Maybe by the time you come back, we can figure out, right? So then decided like, say, I was not sure whether I will get such an opportunity within Microsoft. Microsoft being a large organization, again, they also have their own structures. Just because one random candidate came and said like, say, I want this team only. Will they do that? They have a PPO placement. They would be like recruiting, say, 1,000 or at least 100 management interns, management trainees. So one trainee wanted this, like they might not be able to take an exception, right? So I said like, say, okay. Then I was very clear when I came out of Microsoft. I was very clear. Okay, now I'm not going to go and join a MNC at this point. I want to go and join a startup where I got to learn a lot. That was the only aspiration, right? And during the course of last year at IIM Ahmedabad, I also understood like, say, if I had to start up something on my own, two things are very, very critical. I got to meet people and understood, like, say, why it's critical. One, I felt you need a rock solid team. It's going to be a long journey. You should have fun with your team. And unless you relate with your team and feel that, like, say, I can spend my life with this team, then it's no fun, right? So that team was very critical. Second, I felt having a good mentor gives you a very it takes you a long way. It gives you a huge advantage, right?
Reduces friction. In a lot of
reduces friction. You get to leapfrog in multiple angles, right? You don't get to go through the same journey your mentor had gone through.
you don't have to repeat the mistakes.
Correct. So I think, and I felt like, say, I'm not ready. I mean, I don't have my team sorted. I don't have my mentor sorted. It's too early for me to go and start up right away. So let me go and learn. Okay. So then I was very clear. I'm not going to join an MNC. I'm going to learn. And it's very clear. Like, say, a few of my friends, like, say, with whom I would have wanted to start up, like, say, they were in Bangalore. So I said, like, say, let me come back to Bangalore. Let me learn a lot. So let me join a startup. And I know technology is always core to my heart. So like, say, okay, let me take up a product management role. So product management, Bangalore, and startup. This is something that was very clear. And I kept on like searching, and I felt TaxiForSure was a good company. Raghu is an IIM alum, so somehow figured out like, say, there's a company called TaxiForSure. I felt they're doing good work. I would like to be a part of the journey. So tried reaching out to Raghu or a few of them during LinkedIn and all, but didn't really get a response. But luckily, last minute, TaxiForSure came to the campus.
Oh.
Last minute, okay. And I was like, screw it. I'm not going to sit in any other company. So I didn't. So in IIM, there's a point system. Okay, you can like say give rating to multiple companies. Companies will rate the candidates, and based on some matchmaking algorithm, it decides like say who will get what interview slot.
Huh.
I'm like, screw it. All my 100 points, I'm going to like put on this company. One company, I'll go, and I prepared like crazy for that. Right. Taxi industry, if you ask global numbers, anything you ask, like say,
it will be top of my head. Yeah.
So just like say when there. Did 2 rounds, cracked it, got the job offer, came out. So I chose TaxiForSure. I was very, very clear. These are 3 constraints. Like say
Bangalore, learning, and early stage.
Yeah. And product management, all these 3. Very clear. So came here, joined TaxiForSure.
What scale was it?
When I joined TaxiForSure, I was doing 3,000 orders a day. First day, they used to have a dashboard in the office. The 3 cities, Bangalore, Chennai, and Delhi. I guess 3 cities only were there, and I think we're doing.
It was intercity. Started intercity.
Not sure. Back then it was only intracity, I guess. But 3,000 orders a day is what they were doing. And it's very, very interesting. Day one, when we used to have an induction program with the CEO of the company, Raghu, and a few every leader of the company will come and talk, right, for like 2 days induction. And last session will be Raghu's session. So Raghu came and said, like, we was talking about it. I told Raghu, right, Raghu, I'm going to be here in the company for 2 years. Okay, I'm not going to be here for more than 2 years. Okay, I want to start something on my own. But these next 2 years, I'm going to put my heart and soul and like say learn as much as possible here. So it really boils down to how much you extract value out of me. I'm ready to put my all in. Like say it really boils down to that, right? And it's like, yeah, that works for me. Let's go. Let's give it a shot. That's how it all started. Okay. Imagine second day of the company, joining the company. I'm having a CEO saying that like, say, I'll quit in 2 years, right? But I think he took in the right spirit. He knew, okay, now I have a clarity. I'm driven. I know why I'm there, right? So, and so I was a product manager. Started with payments to be my first product, payments product manager. Again, learned a lot in that. Like, I started with one, understood like to fix that I had like build another product. To fix that I had to build another one.
Like you're saying, to build one product, you had to build another product. Walk us through that thing.
See, for example, like say, so they had asked me like say build. So okay, initially I was put in. At that point, TaxiForSure said like say they want like build corporate bookings to be a new vertical. They had consumer vertical. They want like start a B2B vertical, which is corporate bookings, right? And the more and more I went into understood like say corporate vertical, I understood like say every corporate booking works on credit. No corporate consumer. So back then, TaxiForSure didn't have any wallet or credit or anything like that, right?
Everything in cash.
Everything in cash. That's how it used to work. Which means like say now when a consumer like say who of a corporate boards a cab, you cannot ask them to pay money.
Yeah, because company will pay it later.
Correct. So that infra we didn't have. So which means I had to first build a product that can like say facilitate credit, right, for the consumer in some form and shape. Correct. That was so which means I had to go and build a credit product, which means like say now I had to like understand like how the entire when I started the corporate, then I had like say build a corporate wallet or a consumer wallet to pull that off. Okay, and to make that happen, the drivers should have clarity on, okay, no, this is cash booking, this is a corporate booking, or there is a credit booking, right?
I won't get cash.
So they should also know that. So I had like build that part of the infra. Now when you build that infra, again a lot of legal complications kick in. Again, TaxiForSure had a very different, unique model where we had distributors or like operators, right? The cab operators. They were the primary owners, and then we had drivers.
Got it.
Ola had a model where they used to directly work with drivers, but TaxiForSure used to work with the operators and then drivers.
जिन operators के पास कुछ 100 taxi या 200 drivers उनके साथ काम करते हैं, वो directly reaching.
Correct. So which means any money that we settle, it'll have to go through operators first and then go to the drivers. It cannot, TaxiForSure cannot logically sell money directly to the drivers, right? All those things were there. Then trying to figure it out. So start off there, build that. Then I felt like, say, no, to make this happen, I had to first build an operator registration module. See, because legally operators and drivers were not in the registration model that we had a driver registration model, but we didn't have an operator registration module, right? So it all started there. I started with some corporate booking. Yahan se like say, kept on coming back, and say, like, no, I had to first build this, right? Build this, build that, and got to a state where, okay, now the system works in 3-4 months. Like got everything booking, got our customer. So basically built a platform for the drivers to accept credit bookings. Once we build that, there's another product manager. She built a coupon discounting platform. So any consumer can be given coupons, and once a consumer boards a cab, I mean, they put the coupon in the app. Even for consumer, they can get 100 rupees off, 200 rupees off discount and all that. Earlier, when I joined TaxiForSure, it was not there. Back then, coupons were only like, say, you take a ride, you will get a Make Me Trip coupon. You get a ride, you get a free charge coupon. You will never get, when you take a ride, you cannot take a cash benefit. It was never there before when I joined, right? So because I built that infrastructure for corporate bookings, the same infrastructure was leveraged by the consumer team for driving consumer marketing, right? That worked. That's how my payments journey started. And then we started expanding to multiple cities. If you have to do 10 things to pull that off, you have to do 10 things. You cannot say, like, say, this is what my forte is, I'll do this. Nothing. Like, you work end to end. You're the mini CEO of that entire vertical, so you just pull it off, right? And I think TaxiForSure gave me the liberty to, like, think end to end, work across. Used to work with the finance team, used to the legal team, used to work with the operations team, marketing team, everybody to pull it off, right? And beautifully worked. At this point, like, say, 2 things happened. One, like, say, there's a separate payments roadmap was going on. Okay, what do we do in payments next to these things? Second, like, say, company was expanding to multiple cities. These are two-pronged things going on, right? So payments, like, say, I think one real learning that I had was, again, after building all of this, Raghu had this thing, like, say, we need to have payment gateway integrated in our system. We cannot only accept cash. Again, we have built credit functionality, as in coupons and all that, but we cannot still accept online payments. You get it, right? That infra we not built. So I said, I'll build it. And Raghu had a point of view, like, say, we'll build in a particular way, like how any, let somebody close a booking, and once that ride gets over. So in taxi, what happens, like, say, back then, at the time of booking, you can only give an approximate fare value. You cannot say, so Bellandur se Maratali jane ke liye, like, say, it will take 100 rupees. You can say 100 to 150 rupees. Nobody knows the exact value. So before knowing the exact value, you can't charge the user. Correct? So the way the system was planning to get built was, we'll decide 100 and 150 rupees. Once the user closes the work,
the final amount
will come, and then the user will have to, like, do an online payment, like click payment online. They have to go through payment gateway, raise a pay, just pay anybody, right? And, like, make an online payment. I had this, like, say, I did some consumer research. I talked to a lot of our users, and I understood, like, say, one thing I came up with, right? I felt every user starts the journey with an intent. Taxi as a journey, right? Nobody's, like, say, taking taxi just to, I just want to chill out on taxi, right? Everybody is, like,
go from somewhere to somewhere.
And generally, as and when I reach the destination, I want to pursue that intent. I don't want to waste my time anymore. I have all the time when I'm in the cab.
But I don't have time after I
reach, right? So at that point, if you ask me to do anything extra, it's actually a bad experience, right? So I told, that's when I told, so I actually went and told Raghu, see, I believe we should not build the flow this way. It's going to be a post-facto experience flow. It should be a pre-booking. By the time I book the cab or in cab, either before I book the ride or during the ride, I should I should put the money in wallet, because I don't know the final value. If without knowing the final value, I can't pay it. So I can, like, put, like, say, some 500 rupees in my TaxiForSure wallet, and whenever the final price
cut automatically.
So that, like, say, the user has the best experience, right? And Uber had this, Uber having access to international gateway. They were using Uber wallet, Uber credit card, we can directly charge. It was all going on, but in India, TaxiForSure and Ola didn't have that luxury. So we had to take a
because of some compliance issues, they can't do it.
Correct. So then we built. So again, when, say, I think I was an associate product manager, something like that, okay? But when I came with an idea, when I came with the user insight, right, I said, this is why I think this is the right design for our users. The CEO took a decision that, like, say, some of the flow is better, and I came up with the idea that, like, say, this flow seems better than that, right? And I think Raghu respected that. Raghu didn't say that, like, say, dude, I've already thought this through, just go and do it, right? He said, like, say, okay, you're the product manager, you believe in this idea, I believe in a conviction, go and do it. And I built that, and I saw traction in that, right? And that was a moment where I felt very, very happy. Like say, okay, now
He's listening, huh?
If you are being random, like say, nobody's going to say, people will listen, but like say, they'll say, like say, they will also rationally explain you why that something will not work, right? So that happened, like say, that moment where I felt like say that's the sort of company I want to build. Let me put it that way. Somebody, I mean, it doesn't matter like say where the idea comes from. May the best idea win. That is what is going to like finally make our users' life better, right? And that's what like say gives you pride in building things. So I think that was one pivotal learning for me, right? Like say this is how I want to build a company. Like innovation can happen anywhere, ideas can come from anywhere, but we should like say have a meaningful conversation, like say let the best idea win, right? This was something I was proud of, okay? But I'll tell you one thing about which I was not proud of. When I was building this payment gateway, this wallet, right? We were building a payment gateway infrastructure to like, leverage that. So we used to, I was over optimizing there. For example, like say I used to work with like, I had RacerPay, I had, I think PayU, Citrus Pay, multiple people, right? So we are trying to build a payment gateway monitoring system, which will take 2-3 such payment gateways and dynamically optimize who's good today types. For that, like say we have the best user experience, right? But at the same time, Ola launched its wallet. Okay, and Ola was like say 1 month ahead of NinjaCart. That's ahead of TaxiForSure when launching its wallet. I think they took a hacky solution, but they came to the market first. They gave the solution to the users first, right? We were working on an efficient solution,
but we delayed that.
We delayed it. Okay, and it was my decision. I delayed it. I felt we're building we're building a company here. Like say.
Optimize, may the best project come out.
Do it the right way so that like say it can outlast us, right? That's the mindset I had. And that is a very hard learning. Again, see, it's not as like say it didn't create a lot of difference amongst the users, right? Like say whoever used it, they see today you use Ola, also use Uber also. So primarily the user will use a platform not for these experiences. They will use the platform for availability. Really, whoever has the best, I mean, right taxi at a given point in time at the cheapest price point, they'll use that. That's the primary thing, right? But these all things add up over a period of time. The experience that they end up getting, right? Those all keep adding up to the brand recall over a period of time, right? Brand experience and brand recall over a period of time. So the learning for me at the point was like, say, okay, now when we're building a startup, you have to very, very clear, like say, which is important. And at NinjaCart, like say, we started like say, propagating this philosophy that like say speed versus efficiency, right? Speed is better than, is more important than efficiency on day one. Don't try to be efficient on day one. Try to be fast, try to be agile. It is okay. 80% done is good enough than 100% plan. So just get started. If you think like say you have an idea, just go for it, right? Don't perennially build towards efficiency on day one. So this is also other learning that I got, right? Like say because I was beaten to market by Ola, right? And like I don't think like say it didn't create a difference at the TaxiForSure scale. I don't think probably like say Raghu gave me a call and like say talk to me more like say why did Ola launch this first than us, right? He didn't say that, but I felt, see, for me my product is important. For Raghu at a company level maybe it was not important, so he didn't mind. But for me, like say, did I bring the product out than my competitor? No. And that was because of my philosophy that like say efficiency was probably like say important than speed, which I changed later. This is another learning for me, right? So one was like say build an org where it takes all ideas and gives credit to the best idea. Second was this.
This was insightful.
Speed versus efficiency. Third, okay, and like this is the payments journey, right? This is examples that I gave you about. Then comes the scale-up journey, the expansion plan, right? We launched from 3 cities to, I don't know, man, I think some 100 cities. Okay, by the time we exited TaxiForSure in the like say Feb month, I think we were doing 3 lakh bookings or 5 lakh bookings types. So 3,000 orders
to 3 lakh.
I think 30,000 orders to 3 lakh, something like that. That was the scale they saw in 1 year time frame, right? 3,000, 30,000, 1 lakh, 3 lakh, something like that. So it's a crazy 10x journey is what I saw. 10x, 100x journey is what I saw in the time frame. And so when they came out with a very interesting campaign back then, they said like say, I think I remember the campaign name is called 49 for 4. So basically for 4-kilometer ride, you'll
just pay 49.
Okay. When marketing team came with the idea only, I felt okay, that was a crazy idea. We'll burn a lot of money, but the point is like say the growth is going to be unparalleled. We'll invent a lot of trials, right? I felt I went and I remember like in one of the I think this decision was taken by the, again I was not by the core set of people, like say the marketing head, CEO, everybody took the decision, right? And finally it came to me that it's going to get done. In next 2 days we launch this. I remember going and telling Raghu, say Raghu, we can build this, but if we go and launch it today, our systems are not capable of handling all of this, handling so many volumes, right? He's like, I know, but that's why you're there to handle it now. So I know the systems can't handle it, but you will figure it out. So he trusted and like say he went ahead. And as we predicted, like systems were not able to handle it, system failed. And I used to sit in like Ryan while tech team was building and fixing things. Meanwhile, like say we were all managing things in the time frame, right? Product managers were all managing things. So I used to write a script to end of the day, if any problem happened, we used to do a reconciliation and credit money to the drivers, extra money to the drivers, right? Like assume certain money we had to give us compensation. We used to like say do all that, right? Because any system failure happened, we reconcile that and give that. There were days where like say there was one day where like say instead of crediting money, we debited money.
Oh my God.
It's like, so I imagine like say early morning I'm getting a call from the Delhi guy, the Delhi city head. Okay, he's like, okay, what happened, man? There's some 1,000 drivers standing in front of my office. They're about to thrash me. Okay, what really happened? I'm like, no idea. Goodwill, what happened? Then I understood. Okay, so, they're all saying money has been like, taken out of their wallet. Something's a problem. Then I understood like something's a problem. Called my developers, quickly salvaged it. Right? Only Delhi got affected. Bangalore and Chennai somehow the script was running one by one. And somehow we saved it, right? And then Raghu had a meeting. We all like say where the screw up happened and all that. Like yeah, it's a small plus or minus error, but it had a very large repercussion, right? So we all came together. Like we knew this was important for the company. So I think people didn't really like say figure out like say this product case works, this tech case works, this analytics case work, nothing like that. Everybody came together. We all like say put a heart and soul, like say made that happen in the time frame. And I think that made that scale up possible. That really got us back into the game along with other competitors like Ola, Uber, right? That's the beauty of a startup, right? You don't try to like say draw boundaries and say this is how it'll work. You'll say whatever the company wants, you'll do that. This is why we are here. We'll do it as a team, right? I think that happened in the journey.
We'll talk about the period of acquisition. We'll talk about this with Raghu, but from your point of sight, how acquisition of TaxiForSure affected you?
See, for me, like say TaxiForSure was my first company, okay, and I used to treat it as my own company, okay. I used to feel like say this is my own company. That's how, because that's the kind of liberty I was given. I know like say if I have a point of view, I'll be heard. It's that feeling, right? That drives every employee. Right? Like say if an employee has a point of view, assume the org has created a culture where he or she'll be heard. That's the kind of an environment I had there. And when Ola got acquired, TaxiForSure, I was just not able to take it. I was just trying to digest the fact that TaxiForSure is getting acquired by Ola, right? I was just not able to take it. So when I got to know Raghu's quitting, I'm like, okay, then I didn't think twice. I said I'll resign. I'll also quit. I don't want to be today at a place where Raghu is not there, right? It is emotionally I was not able to take it. To be very, very honest, yeah.
Got it. And is it true that NinjaCart's idea came later after the team got together and then they thought of an idea?
So this is during the acquisition time, right? It's around like say Jan, Feb, March. Around that time, the work at office also was, me, Thiru, Vasu, few of us like say we used to work on weekends on around pet projects.
Okay.
So Thiru, so few other co-founders, Thiru, Sharad, Ashutosh, and Sachin, like they had this app called Shout initially. Okay. They used to like work on this project called Shout on the weekends. Shout is nothing but a locality-based Twitter app. Okay. Assume you have Twitter. In Twitter, what do? You subscribe to your celebrities. When they tweet, you get to listen to that, right?
Here you supply or to a nearby.
Exactly. So assume you sit in like say Belandur and you tweet. HSR and Martali people will get to know. Okay. There again they retweet. It goes back, right? So that's how it is a locality-based information sharing platform. Okay. That's what was built. They're all experimenting in that. Like say trying to figure out like say how do you, so that it actually had a lot of engagement. When the user comes and posts, others will post, help them and all that. But it's not, we were not to crack the virality behind it. How do you growth hack it and like say get more and more users to,
and other things.
How do you get users to refer others, right? We were not able to pull that off at all. I think that's when like one of the co-founders like say made the statement that like say, dude, either we should do content, which is what we're doing today, or we should do transactions. We should enable people to do real transactions. That's where we had this idea of like say pivoting from content to transactions, which was okay. We have built a locality based location based application. Can we build on locality based use cases? That's where the hyperlocal grocery delivery idea came through. So instead of being a hyperlocal content platform, let's be a hyperlocal transaction platform.
Okay. Where people can come and they can order certain things from that hyperlocal network.
Right?
Okay.
So that's how the idea started. Okay. We talked to users, saw some benefits. So we just we are trying that, right? In this point, like say, this is the time where I also started joining the team. Me, Vasu, some five of us were there, right? We were all working on this idea. One fine day, so we were working on a pet project. So during our weekends, we used to do this, right? During office days, I'll be in office working on TaxiForSure things. On Saturdays and Sundays, I'll have time, so I used to do this, right? We were doing all of this. And then TaxiForSure got acquired by Ola, and we're seriously thinking, what do we do? Then that's when we found, okay, now this idea has some merit. We'll give it a shot. We'll go all in. And then we talked to Raghu. I had offers from few other startups and all that. But somewhere Raghu said, like, say, you said you'll give it in 2 years. Unfortunately, you're quitting in 1 year now. Either ways, now what's stopping you from starting today, right? I said, like, say, I don't know. I think I have a good team. I like the team. I work with Thiru. I work with Vasu. I have a good team. And I have a good mentor, which is Raghu. I have you. I think I have both what I wanted. Now, you're right. I don't think anything's holding me back. I think I can go and start up right away, right? That's how we launched the NinjaCart Hyperlocal platform. So honestly, like, say, the team didn't come together for the idea. See, I think between me, Vasu, all of us, like, say, we like the team. I can build with this team forever, right? I like the team. We'll work on an idea. That's how we started. It's not like we're like hell-bent on this idea. And it goes back to this thing, right? See, that's why, for example, like, say, when the 6 months we tried this idea, okay, at some point we felt like we're not really creating value for the users. We didn't feel that like we're adding either convenience for our consumers or we're creating our life change for our retailers. We didn't feel that, okay. And that's the time we felt like, say, we did some experiments. We understood, like, say, actually we're only, like, say, the platform is relevant only when we give it discounts. People are not really.
You got angry and scolded Thiru ki it's a discounting company.
I was a tech product analytics guy, right? Like, say, I used to keep checking, like, say, who are the kind of customers who are coming back, what sort of cohorts are coming back, right? We also very clearly feel that there are set of customers who are discount hunters. Again, see, as a user, I have also been a discount hunter on some platform. Okay, so. If we are building a platform only for the discount hunters and not really creating value for certain different segment of users, right? Then we are not really building something great. That's what I felt back then. So I said, like, say, we did some experiments. We understood, like, say, that's the case.
And the experiment was that one day you gave some discount, another day you did not give any discount. And you see,
we saw a huge gap. Then we said, okay, this is the state we are at. Let's not keep pursuing this, right? That's when we pivoted.
What was the pivoted idea? Where did
instead of retail to consumer, we did farm to retail. That's the idea that we're working on today also.
So from B2C, you went to?
B2B, yeah. Because, like, say, even back then, like, say, Sharath, one of our other co-founders, like, say, he used to work on this idea. Like, okay, our consumers back then had a complaint that, sir, when I bought from Big Basket, I'm getting cheap, I'm getting fresh quality produce. But when I'm ordering from your retailers, from you, they don't care whether we get it from retailers, right? When I'm ordering from you, some days I'm getting better, some days I'm not getting better. When we went deeper to understand, we understood from the retailers that we don't go to the market every day to buy fresh quality produce. Once in a week or twice a week, we go to the market. The remaining 3 days is the same stock because we don't have time to go to the market every day, right? So that's the pain point.
Because we have to close the shop and then go.
And early morning, you have to go. 4 o'clock, you have to go. Like in fruits and vegetables, right? You have to go to the market early in the morning. It's not like, say, afternoon, I have to close the shop and go. That happens in non-perishables. Like staples like rice, you have to buy rice or you have to buy onion.
That's what Elastic Run and all these companies.
Correct. So that they do for non-perishables. But vegetables, right? Generally, you have to go to the market early in the morning at, like, say, 4 a.m., 5 a.m.
Because subah log zyada khareedte hain.
Correct. So then, like, say, I have to, like, go to the market pehle only and get it and come and stock it. So that, like, say, when the consumers come, they have it, right? So this is the pain point that they had. So that they can't go every day.
So we also see that a lot of delivery trucks come to these retailers. And so what's the difference? When is the time when a retailer goes and buys the vegetables, and when is the time when there is some man who is delivering to these folks?
So generally, in fruits and vegetables, you will not see that. Very less. Majority of the cases, you will see, like, see the retailers going to the market and buying it. You will not see. I mean, maybe 10% of the market operates in a way where somebody comes and delivers, right? Majority, like, is the case where the retailer goes to the market and buys it. So this is a pain point that we saw. And we felt like, say, to solve for our consumers, let's see how to get our retailers to stock better quality produce.
And Big Basket was, at this time, was directly sourcing from farmers. That's why their consistency in quality.
Farmers, traders, multiple people. But they used to, like, say, see, they're buying every day and they're selling every day. That's simple, right? So they might not have bought from farmers. They might be buying from traders. But at the end of the day, they were buying daily and they were selling daily. Correct. But our retailers were buying once in 3 days, but they're selling daily. So second day or third day, the item was not fresh. So that is when Sharath was doing an experiment of, okay, when we were doing the B2C, the B2C business, right? Retail to consumer business when we were building. Sharath was doing this experiment on how do we get the retailers to have better quality produce, right? Fresh quality produce. So he was trying to set up that infrastructure to supply to them and see if we supply to you daily, can you keep fresh stock daily, right? He was doing that. So by the time we shut down the B2C arm, this became a good business to bet on.
Got it. And B2C arm, how much of the revenues, what was it generating? Because that's cutting down a source of revenue is a tough decision, I'm assuming that.
Yeah. See, let me put this way, right? Again, it all boils down to like say why you start a company, right? For me, it was very clear. Like say, okay, back then let me put it this way. Like, I felt NinjaCard 1.0, the retail to consumer idea was not an idea for which probably I would have put my entire life on. I always thought it's a good learning platform, right? Like, let me learn a lot. When I want to work on an idea where I see I want to put my heart and soul, I cannot feel that I don't have the right skill sets to run a company, right? So I felt like, say, let me start the company along with these folks. Let me learn how to build a company. That is the aspiration we started. Okay, right. But when we're just discounting and doing things and we're not really adding value to the users, we didn't feel satisfied. We didn't feel we're creating a difference. Okay, at the end of the day, I think as a founder, you start a company to create a difference, not to just do some random things, right? So that is the reason once everybody understood, okay, we're not really adding value to the users, it was a relatively easier decision. Okay, it's hard to digest, but we all know that the core that we're not really creating value to our users. Hence, let's not focus on this, right? So we're doing roughly, say, I think 1,500 orders a day.
ये NinjaCart का नाम, where was it coming from? Number one, and do you think it's relatable to the farmer? When farmer or the retailer hears NinjaCart,
yeah,
what's the first?
Nothing. Say, I think this name was. Honestly, like say, I think we had built a app, all of that, but we didn't have a. We just wanted to go live and try with our users. We didn't have a name. We're just like, sitting and thinking, like, say, what name to keep, and somewhere we were just like doing some Google research. In GoDaddy, we were trying to book a website, and somewhere the word ninja came. Okay, like this name is good, no? Like say NinjaCart. Like instead of we're trying about like daily cart, daily something, daily multiple things we're trying. Fresh, daily fresh, daily multiple things we're trying. Somewhere this Ninja came. Like NinjaCart name looks good, no?
You gave that?
No. I think I don't even remember who gave. Like, like 4 of us sitting and like say. Chatting, right? We just want to make the app live, book the website, build a logo, and go live with the app so that tomorrow morning we can take orders from our customers. That's how that's the state we are at. So we just said NinjaCart looks good, we'll go ahead. So Ninja, we felt okay. Ninja means like say okay, that's fast, agile, nimble, stealth. So for us, more like say from a consumer point of view back then, you order any item, the item will get delivered to you faster.
This is an amazing idea for any young person will think of, oh, NinjaCart is great. Yeah. But were farmers able to relate it? Did you face this problem?
No. Again, for them it was like, say, it was an abstract thing, right? Say, let me put it this way. Apple, when you say Apple today, right? You're going to tell a farmer Apple, he'll think a different Apple. But in your mind as a consumer today, Apple you relate with something else. Right. So I think what we started realizing is like, say, people start relating to abstract things. They know, okay, NinjaCart, what is NinjaCart? They ask this question, but over a period of time, it's not like an idea where day one, okay, let's take for example, Flipkart, okay, flip means book. Now, how many people will realize it today? I'm not sure. Back then, it started with Flipkart being it's a platform for like say book delivery, right? But today, Flipkart is Flipkart, okay? Like you take BharatPay. BharatPay on day only when people feel okay, something to do with like say government payments and all that.
So smart, yeah.
So
got it.
We didn't think this through, man. Like we felt it works, we'll try, yeah.
Second thing, the majority of reasons why startup fail is co-founder conflicts, right?
Yeah.
Generally, we see 1 or 2 or 3 co-founders, and there are so many conflicts. But you have done this successfully with 5 people. Help us understand that. And I was seeing in your cap table, the first when you started, everybody had 20% of the company, all 5 co-founders. So help us understand the dynamics of 5 co-founders. What were the skill sets? How did you complement each other? And how were you able to have fruitful decision making when you had 5 decision makers?
Yeah. No, I think so. Initially we said like all 5 of us will have equal. Then immediately we actually decided that the CEO should have more. The remaining 4 of us should have lesser. And we also created a stock option pool for we created something called MSOP pool and say like say MSOP pool and say like say so assume like we had 20% is saying, right? For example, like say assume Thiru was CEO, like say he had like 33% and all the remaining we had like say 20% types, and we took some 7% or I don't remember the exact numbers, but we took some money, some percentage out of all of our pool and created a common pool called some 10% is MSOP pool, right? And we decided, like, say, Thiru gets to decide whom to allocate this to.
Okay.
Okay. Based on who's performing better, well, who's contributing more, let them get it. That's the right thing, right? Then we are at an org level, at every level, we are building a performance-driven culture, right? So we all like that idea. So we started with that. And then just to give you this context, say one of our co-founders, Ashutosh, exited long back. When we pivoted from B2C to B2B company, he felt his aspirations were not B2B driven.
Okay.
So back then, like, say, he tried B2B for some time. I felt like, say, dude, I'm a marketing guy. I like to build some B2C things. So that's when he chose to leave long back, right? And from then on, the remaining 4 of us have been.
So when someone leaves, their equity pools goes to the entire company?
They still own the own equity in the company.
Okay,
yeah.
Got it.
That's how it is. So within the 4 of us, right, like, say, again, see, do we have conflicts? Yes. Okay. And there's no company when you're strongly passionate, right? When people have high conviction bet on things, right? You will see conflicts. Okay, that's always bound to happen.
What are these working principles that helps? Tell us, give us insight around that.
Okay, amongst the founders, we have this one thing. Okay, all of us are here finally to further the company. All of us have done multiple roles in the company. Okay, we have never said that, like, say, this is my role, I'll only do it, right? No. For example, like, say, I was a tech product guy initially.
CTO, CEO.
Right? And at some point, like, say, through felt everybody else has tried sales. Like, say, I think you should go to try sales, and we are stagnating at some point. You should try sales and see if we can grow the company, right? So I said, I don't know anything about sales, but let me start. So when I started, Sharath was running sales, I guess, and he's the guy who taught me sales. Let me put it that way. So he was running sales. He took me to one of the retailers in HSR layout. There's a guy called Ashwarya Hypermarket. We both went there. We both were trying to sell our product. Actually, it's a very weird experience, right? Say, Ashwarya Supermarket, half an hour we were selling to them. Okay, the guy got so irritated. He opened his the galla, he took 10 rupees, he gave it to us and said, take the 10 rupees and walk out of my shop. There's a facepalm moment, right? All that happened. So I'm saying, and Sharath is like, see, this is the first thing in sales. Okay, once you will always get rejected. Don't feel bad about it. Okay, you just have to be persistent. Keep fine-tuning your product, but like, say, keep, like, say, refining your sales pitch, and, like, say, keep moving forward, right? So I think Sharath taught me a lot. Like, say, when in sales I learned, right?
What were other things which Sharath taught you in sales? For example, this is amazing. You know, this is rejection stories. What were some other things? What were some other hacks that you learned from Sharath while you were going?
I remember him cracking a deal with one of our delivery partners back then. A crazy deal. I was like, how in the hell this deal would work for him? But he cracked it, right? So basically, our office was it used to be very small back then when we started NinjaCart, right? It's a very small office room. Next to that office room, there's another small office room, right? So if somebody's talking in that other office room, you can actually hear it. So I overheard the conversation between, like, say, Sharath and the other vendor partner negotiating, right? I was just off track the way Sharath negotiated, right? Like, say, I'm like, hey, I feel, see, I feel it's a very, very illogical negotiation, but he had the knack of it, right? He knew, okay. See, at some point in the negotiation, Sharath felt that this deal is very important to that person than us. Got it? The moment he felt that,
and then you leveraged.
Then he grabbed on it and he, like, say, cracked the deal, right? I'm like, he had the guts to push the boundary and said, like, say, for example, right, I would have, like, maybe closed the deal at 20 rupees an order. Okay, he closed the deal at 7 rupees an order. Okay, 7 rupees an order is unheard of for me. Like, I'm like, dude, there's no way it's gonna work out. But, like, he pulled it off. Okay, that deal worked for like 6 months for us.
So one insight: if you are in a negotiation, never ever show that you really need this thing.
I don't know, man. I know how to pull it off. Okay, maybe he has the knack to pull it off, right? So wherever, even today, after 9 long years, right? When some crazy negotiation thing comes, I always involve Sharath and say, Machan, you handle it, okay? And I'm not that guy. I can try to rationally talk to somebody and try to make peace with them, but and a lot of, like, say, capturing the irrationality, I think Sharath is much better. And then I went after solving for sales demand. I went on to solve for supply, farmer ecosystem for NinjaCart. After solving for that, I went on to solve for operations. Logistics and supply chain, right?
How did you solve for that? Were there any interesting 1 or 2 learnings from that?
All the founders, right? We had this thing that we're all not here to do one role. Okay, we're all here to, like, say, serve the company, and whichever is the right thing. If different points in time people are good at different things, we'll keep, like, say, juggling so that, like, say, we keep, like, say, pushing the company forward, right? So I did multiple roles. I was a CTO, became a sales guy, I became a farmer sourcing guy, became a logistics guy. Over a period of time, like, became a city head of Bangalore, then became CEO of the company. Then for the last 2 years, I'm the CEO of the company. Right? Something, it is all based on what was important at that particular point in time. We always switched roles, right? Sharath was a CEO at some point. Vasu was a CEO at another point. I was a CEO at another point. We never clung on to one role, right? I think even today I feel like, say, I'll be whatever the company wants me to be. That's what makes sense. If I can, I aspire to be at a state where a proper CEO, professional CEO maybe runs a company and like say I get to be just a co-founder with no title, nothing, and just be available for the company to do whatever it's required, right? That's what probably so that's one. Then between us we had this thing that if assume I'm running sales today or assume Vasu's running sales today, right? All of us can have multiple perspectives, okay?
Right. And they will set different structures.
We'll have multiple perspectives. We'll all brainstorm, debate, discuss all that. But finally, the guy who gets to execute, he has to take the final decision. I can all go and give gyan to anybody. So I'm saying, assume there are 5 co-founders. Like say we can all discuss, brainstorm, and think what should be the strategy and all that stuff. But finally, the final call comes to the person who's going to run it. The person who's going to finally run it, he or she gets to decide what they believe in, and they get to execute that, right? And we'll never retrospectively reprimand the person on something. For example, like say you took a decision today. After 1 year, the decision could have been right or could have gone wrong. Okay, but you cannot say if the decision goes wrong, you can't. I said this, right? We will never do that because like say today it's wrong, and back then the data points that you had, you took the best decision. Okay, today the ecosystem has changed, the environment has changed, the context has changed. So you can never go back and retrospectively reprimand people, right, of the past decisions they made. That's not in the culture. Okay, this is second. Third, never cross a line. For example, like say, assume I can go and talk to anybody in the company for information. Okay, there are a lot of people. You saw like some 10 people in the office today, right? I can go and talk to them. So when you walk into the office, you saw me talking to somebody, right?
Yes.
No, he doesn't report to me today directly. Okay, he reported to a leader called Natarajan. He reports into him, right? So basically, the philosophy that we follow here is anybody can reach out to anybody to talk, to seek information, to talk, brainstorm and all that.
But how do you?
But we'll never command that. We'll never instruct them that do this. We will always give. I work with them and say give perspectives, right? This is what I believe we can potentially do. Decision always has to flow top down because prioritization and optimization, right? I do not know the priority at which
that person has engaged that resource.
Exactly, right? So I should never take the decision. So even amongst the co-founders, we used to have this this thing that everybody can talk to everybody. That's totally fine, but we should never command somebody. You can only command your chain of line. Yeah.
So that's very important. Yeah. This was insightful.
So these are the 3 things broadly helped us. Again, despite having this clarity, we have crossed lanes. We got beaten black and blue. I have hit Thiru for that. Vasu has hit me for that. But I think that everybody's mature enough to understand the fact that they didn't cross a lane for the sake of crossing a lane. They crossed a lane by mistake, and we apologize and we move forward, right? So I think that was it.
Got it. How did you achieve the PMF for the company? So you moved to B2B model where you're sourcing for the retailers. What were certain challenges that you were solving? How did the business model evolve from that time? And how many orders were you taking by then? Give us the story from that point.
So we pivoted to B2B. Okay, I think we are doing roughly like say 10 tons a day, 20 tons a day we are doing.
10 tons a day of what? Fruits and vegetables.
Fruits and vegetables delivered to retailers.
Every day, morning.
Yeah, we started doing this.
Fulfillment model you started a bit.
Yeah. We started doing this. So again, the philosophy was this, right? We felt from pharma all the way to the retailer, there are multiple layers of middlemen that are there, multiple levels of inefficiency are there. Can we optimize that? Can we build an alternate system which is efficient than the existing system? That's the approach that we had. We started that. We found the retailers are liking it. 10 tons, we got to 10 tons, eventually we got to 30 tons, right? We got to 10 tons, we had an operations challenge, then we started like fixed operations. For example, like say in the night we used to, again, see, it is a very crazy day, man. Like say morning we used to go take orders from the customers.
Every retailer is that this much amount of fruit and vegetable
we'll take orders. Okay. Night we'll come back. I'll come back to the office. We'll sit in code. We'll also in code. And early morning, as in around like say 4 a.m. in the morning, we'll go to the warehouse and we'll try to do delivery. Okay, that's how we initial days we used to run it, right?
And where did you sleep? In the delivery partner's office or?
Everywhere. Wherever possible, we'll just catch sleep, right? You'll see an iconic photo where Vasu will be sleeping in the market.
I saw that.
Yeah. So, but again, market is the place where you learn from, right? That's your, it's already extinct. So we go to the market, we used to go to the market every day, learn from there what's going on. So that's the journey. So what happened was, like say 10 tons, when we're doing 10 tons, right? At some point, like say, we were able to deliver on time. Like we didn't have enough crates, dollies, trolleys to move and all that, right? We used to lift every crate and put it in the vehicle, and at some point we feel to
this is not happening.
this is totally not happening. Right? Then we started like innovating for solving for that. Then that's what like led to 30 tons.
How did you solve for that? You ordered different
No,
trolleys?
we built we made custom-made crates that works for fruits and vegetables, and those crates will fit in a custom-made trolley or a dolly, we used to call it. So we made that, which works for our ecosystem. We built that, then we understood okay, we'll always move the inventory in crates. The crates will always be placed on dollies. Crates will never be like say moved as crates.
Yes.
I will take a crate from one dolly and keep it on another dolly, but it will always move that, right? So we built that, and then we came to 30 tons, and that's when we started seeing a supply challenge.
What was the challenge?
Supply and no, actually not 30 tons. 30 tons, we came to 30 tons, and then we saw a demand challenge.
Which
we
was?
Felt we were not able to penetrate. Our user attrition was on the bad side. I think only like say I think 40-50% of our users were getting retained after a 1 month time frame or 3 month time frame, right?
40% of the retailers will give you more orders. Huh?
Correct. So then we felt like see, this retention is not good enough. What's the problem, right? So that's when I took over sales also. We started getting 30 tons. So then I took up and I was meeting retailers, right? What I understood, like say, okay, back then the valuation of the retailers was convenience. We told them, sir, like you're not going to go to the market every day. Hence, I'll give you convenience. Okay, I'll give you the item to the dealership, right? But in reality, what has been done? We were never able to build a system where we were able to give all the items to the retailer on every single day. We also had a prediction challenges, our procurement challenges. Because of that, every day, every item will not go. We are also learning and building the system, right?
Right.
So we felt like say, at some point the retailer started saying, sir, I am ordering 10 items from you. Night only you're saying that only you have only 8 items, which means for the remaining 2 I'm going to the market.
So
it's not like
you're not solving the entire convenience.
Solving my convenience fully. So the 30 till the initial 30 tons, we were able to capture those convenience seekers who are like, okay, 2 items you don't give me today, I'm okay, right? Remaining 8 is okay for me, right? But beyond the point that was not working, right? That's when we understood, like say, I felt till we build a particular scale, we cannot keep convenience the value proposition. In reality, if you're building an alternate supply chain, which is efficient than the traditional supply chain, then we should be cheaper for the retailer. We should be want to be costlier for the farmer, want to be better for the farmer, want to be cheaper for the retailer. So if we are believing in this strategy, in this philosophy that tomorrow we'll build an efficient system, let's take that bet today. We will want to be cheaper to the retailer. We'll take that bet. So we from convenience, we started like say putting price as the primary vector. We want to be cheaper, and we started scaling the business again. We got to 60 tons. This decision that like say we're not a convenience player, we're a cost player.
That was a turnaround.
Yeah, so 30 tons to 60 tons. At 60 tons, demand was there, but we had a supply challenge.
Okay, but before this, when you moved from convenience to value, and when you were saying that I will provide you cheaper goods, where was that margin coming from?
So initially we were burning, but with the conviction that we are building an efficient alternate system which will be efficient, which means that in the long run we'll make money.
Got it.
Right.
30 tons to 60 tons, 60 tons, you faced a supply issue.
Challenge.
What was the challenge?
We are not able to procure tomatoes. Okay. Till we are 10 tons, 60 tons. Okay. I think at 60 tons, our tomato procurement volumes should be like I think 20 tons a day or 15-20 tons a day. Okay.
So out of 60, 20 is tomato.
I think 10-15 tons will be tomatoes, right?
Okay.
Now we're not able to procure more than that. Okay. We are trying to figure out the answer. Okay. So then like we understood like say, we enter the market again. Whenever you have a doubt, when we have a problem, we always go to the market, the traditional markets, right? We go to the market, stay the entire night in the market, understand like what's going on in the market, why market is getting items from, where market is getting items from. We go on to map that out fully, and that's when we understood like say we had a fundamental realization. Okay, now we had our procurement centers in the wrong locations, or maybe in the right locations for the previous season, but now the season has changed. Again, right, one half of year Mysore will produce tomatoes, another half of the year another place will produce tomatoes, right? So we didn't move the systems accordingly. So then we understood we had to build a dynamic system where we understand the seasonality of the entire graph, and understand like say which village or which area will like produce which item on which season, and we started like say putting up procurement centers all there, right? So we did that. And then we have an internal category team called category team, which actually does this work, right? They decide the selling price for the customer, they decide the purchase price for farmer, they decide where to procure from, which season, where to procure from, right? They decide all of that. So then we set up this team. This took us from 60 tons to 100 tons. Okay, at 100 tons, our logistics broke.
Why?
We want to get Tata ACs to deliver so many number of Tata ACs to deliver. One Tata ACs will do 1 ton delivery a day maximum. Right. Which means like say to deliver 100 tons, we need 100 Tata ACs. And back then like during our this big billion days and Amazon Great Festival days, right? Flipkart, Walmart will book fully. Then like say early mornings, the drivers will say like say I'm getting a better deal there today. I'll not come to you.
Oh my God.
We'll have inventory sitting in the warehouse.
But you can't transport it.
And our inventory is perishable inventory. It's not like we can store and stock it tomorrow and sell it tomorrow, right? We used to have we used to have that challenge. Then I feel like how do you make it enticing for the transport partners, right? How do you make it viable? If you had to, this is a system you have to live with. Now how do you make it viable for them, right?
Which year is this?
I don't know, around 2018, I guess.
2018.
Yeah, it's like 17 or 18, 2017 or 2018, right? So did that, and from there on went to
how to make enticing further.
How to make it relevant for the logistics partners, right? So again, kept on working on the logistics problem. I think one mistake, one learning there, right, is so I had this thing that like say people will actually like say if I give more money, people will do extra work. This is what I was thinking. Okay. Logical, think, right? But one thing what I understood about the driver, this community of drivers is, I will try to make maximum money for a given period of time frame work. For example, I'll work only 8 hours or maximum 10 hours. I will never work 12 hours or 14 hours. I'll work 8 to 10 hours. 8 to 10 hours may whoever is giving me the best deal, I'll go there, right? So just because, so the mistake that I made at the point was like, we were trying to build a network design where if I engage a Tata Ace driver, not only do a 4-hour work, but I give them a 12-hour work or a 14-hour work and give them, instead of 30,000 rupees a month, I give them 40,000 rupees a month. They will love it because nobody was giving 40,000 rupees a month to them. If we give them 40,000 rupees a month for extra work, it will work, right? But again, it didn't click with the drivers. They didn't like, they're like, I don't want to do that. I want to earn 30,000. That's it. But if you can earn 30,000 with 8-hour work, instead of 30,000 with 10 hour against 30,000 with 8 hour, I love 30,000 with 8 hours. Again, my understanding of the segment was wrong, right? I understood like say now, ideally, this is how their psyche works. They want to like say work for 10 12 hours maximum, 10 hours, and like say maximize money. It's not like say maximize money with any time frame, right? This is my time frame. With that base, then maximize.
Makes sense. How did you solve this problem then?
See this entire network design, right? We have collection centers, fulfillment centers, distribution centers, okay? This has gone through n number of iterations, right? We used to have 30 collection centers in Bangalore. So this is how the evolution, right? 5 collection centers, 1 fulfillment center, 5 collection centers, 2 fulfillment center, then 25 collection centers, 2 fulfillment center, one fulfillment center, and 10 distribution centers.
Collection center is procuring everything from the farmers.
Fulfillment center is like one aggregation point for a city. From there, all the collection center item comes. From there, it goes to the distribution centers.
Right.
Distribution centers closer to the HSR has one, Marthali has one. There are some 10 distribution centers we have throughout Bangalore, right? We had that model. And
nobody will teach us network design like this. So please, I know it's complicated, but please explain.
So this whiteboard, we're going to explain it better. But the point is the CCFC MDC. That's a CCFC and DC, right? So this went through multiple iterations, man. Okay. They say we had one FC delivering to end customers. This changed to 2 FCs delivering to say end customers. This model changed to 5 CCs to FC to end customers. Okay, then 5 CCs to FCs to 10 DCs to end customers. Okay, let's say the ex-farmers here, right?
Right.
Then this became 25 collection centers, 1 fulfillment center, 10 distribution center.
And this is all one city?
Yeah. All iterations we made, we kept on expanding, right? So at 10 tons this worked, at 30 tons this worked, at 60 tons I think this worked.
Okay.
This got us to 100 tons. This was an optimization that we did at 100 tons to make cost effective. Then
how is this center better than this one?
No. So because we earlier, right, this 2 fulfillment center model worked before getting distribution centers. The one anyways I had 10 distribution centers. It didn't need, we didn't have the need of having 2 fulfillment centers. And when I had 25 collection centers, moving the inventory to
fulfillment center does not make sense.
2 fulfillment centers didn't make sense.
Got it.
Then we changed that. At this point, right, this model was okay.
Okay.
Now this is where we did a lot of last mile optimizations. See, this is the overall network design. But from here, the last mile starts.
Which is from this distribution center to
this segment, right?
Okay.
It starts. So here, at some first model, right, was like say we used to do one delivery, and then we used to deliver to the customers, and we used to do a reverse pickup.
Okay.
We used to deliver, pick up. I mean, cash and carry, right? We used to deliver, we used to do this model. We used to do this for 4 hours. Okay.
Okay.
But if we do only for 4 hours, 6 to 10 o'clock in the morning, we're trying to do this. And at this point, we're losing. This is the case where whenever Flipkart or Amazon, like there's any this thing, right?
Return to origin.
No. When Flipkart or Amazon runs a program, this will be a maybe 500 rupees program. Okay, 4 hours ke liye we'll pay the drivers 500 rupees, something like that, right? So this is a secondary income for the drivers. This is not a primary income. For all the drivers, this is a secondary income. So throughout the year, this will work. But 3-4 months, whenever the festival season comes, when Flipkart and Amazon gives a lot of discounts, they attract the logistics drivers, right? They will say you'll have to do overtime work. So which means you cannot come to my warehouse at 10 a.m. in the morning. You have to come to the warehouse at 8 a.m. in the morning. But our delivery happens from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m.
Right.
So all the drivers will say, I'm getting a better money there, so I'll go there, right? In this 3 months, I'll go there. But I cannot say shut down the business for 3 months and like only 9 months I can operate the business, right? So then we started solving for that. How do you really solve for it, right? Then this became like, say, okay, let's say instead of doing 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. delivery, so this changed to 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. delivery and 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. pickup.
Okay.
We used to deliver the crates first and we used to pick up later.
You're delivering the fruits, and what are you collecting?
Crates. So crates, we deliver the crates when the shop is not even open, and we collect the crates, returns, and cash back on the way back.
Got it. So you can't just go with the crate, dump the fruits. You have to, because that's why you see in the morning the milk is delivered with the crates, and they just leave it and they go back.
Yeah.
So and you have to also collect the cash also.
Collect the cash.
So collect the cash while you are collecting the
crates back. And any returns you have also, you collect it, right?
But when you are collecting this, when you are collecting the crates, you have to have the Tata Aces, no, which Flipkart has taken.
Correct. No. So again, this was the model that we had. This is the model, right? So then this we changed to, okay, now let's not do this. Let's do 2 drop points and 2 pickups. So what we started doing was 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. on delivery.
Okay.
6 a.m. to 8 a.m. The same Tata Ace will come back to the DC. They'll do the next loading. They'll deliver once again. Then 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. I'll do 1 pickup. 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. I'll do another pickup.
Okay.
Got it. Which means 4 a.m. to 12 p.m. The Tata Ace driver works. This is a 8-hour work.
Right.
Roughly. But it will actually take 9 hours to 10 hours. It will take, right? Loading, unloading, and all that, right? And this was equal. So this was the partial income for the driver, right? This was a full-time job. But we are still equal to Flipkart and Amazon, right? We're not better than them, okay? Then I said, okay, let's do 3 drop points and 3 pickups. So we used to start at 2 a.m., same chain, and this used to go to like say 2 p.m. in the evening. The 12-hour work, 12 to 14-hour work, correct?
Which was not working, which drivers did not like.
This model backfired, okay? Like say drivers like say to screw you, like say just because you give me like say 5,000 rupees extra, I cannot work for like 6 or 4 hours, right? All that happened. It's a hard learning for us, made the mistake.
Okay.
This was going on. Then he said like say this is again, everything called I think this model was called, I think Eureka. This is Eureka 2.0. This is long tail, one last time. There's a model called one last time. So we used to have projects for everything we do in the company. We'll have a project name, right? So all this, like say, multiple things happened, and after this came finally we understood, you know, we cannot have the DC. So here this problem is going on. Parallelly, another thing, like say when we deliver the crates, right? Early morning 2 a.m. when we deliver the crates, we started seeing a lot of pilferage happening. There are cases where the driver stole. There are cases where the customer stole. There are cases where the labor steals the item. There are cases where some random bypasser on the road, they will steal it. Okay.
I've seen that, you know, there are crates which just leave the milk with the crates, the trucks, and there is this some dog which just jumps and, you know, takes one milk out of it. So it's a pilferage for them.
People were organized. There were organized stuff going on, right? I remember, like say, one of our we found a case where, like say, our Tata Ace went, delivered the item and went, and there was another gang of people who came and took the item, right? And the organized stuff started happening across cities for us, okay? Then feel like this model is like, we're going to like say, we're going to get screwed. So we had a problem with like say cash. There are some customers who will not pay the money back. They'll say, tomorrow I'll pay the money, right? There's a problem with crates theft. There is a problem with inventory theft. All these 3 were haunting us, right? And that's when we understood, like, instead of doing this, let's go back to an MDC model. MDC, yeah. So we went to some, like, say, instead of DCs, we went for, I think, 50 or 100 micro distribution centers. Okay. So same 25 collection centers, 1 fulfillment center, 50 micro distribution centers, and again, end customers, right? It's just that instead of having 10 distribution centers, covering 8 kilometer radius each. This is like say 50 MDCs covering like say 3 kilometer radius each.
Right. इससे फायदा क्या हुआ?
So what happened was like say we again went back to the 4-hour model. Today what we do is like say 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. we do one delivery. 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. we do another delivery. But on both these delivery, we do on caching. We don't drop it and get the crates back. 6 o'clock we start the day. So 6 o'clock the item gets delivered. At the time we get we give the item, we collect the cash, crates, everything back.
Same time. Okay.
Because 6 o'clock the shops open. The problem is like when we were delivering at 4 o'clock the shops are not open. 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock shops are not open. 6 o'clock the shops will be open. And people will want, and we do a route planning and all that, right? So certain set of customers will want the item at like 6 a.m. in the morning. Certain set of customers will need it at 8 a.m. in the morning. So we do all the route planning efficiently and say this is the customers want this time slot. We'll like do delivery date. So this solve for the crate problem, cash problem, inventory problem, all the problems. Effectively, like say, and this made more sense for the this enabled us to do 2 more, right? One, customers started coming to the MDCs and started picking up also. It's nearby. There's a 10% of the customers started like coming to the MDC and picking up.
So there are my problem is
and we were able to start deploying autos for this, right? A lot of because in the local market you will see auto rickshaws also like say doing correct. We were never able to do that in the longer distance. But in the 8 kilometer, 10 kilometer radius, right? But in 3 kilometer radius within the area, the auto basically is a good business. Morning 6 o'clock I come, I get 2 trips. I get like say I get them 500 business, right? And that started making sense. So from Tata as a supply pool, we started unlocking autos as a supply pool. And for them, part-time income was very, very logical. It's a guaranteed part-time income for them. Every day I get like say 2 guaranteed trips. For them it was that, right? On top of it, we started deploying electric bikes fleet as well.
Are the bikes, electric bikes, 2018?
No, this was 2020.
2020.
Yeah. So electric bike fleet also. Again, this idea came from one of our employees, right? He came up with the idea that like, now that we are in MDC, it's a 3 kilometer radius. I think overall transportation distance level, like say electric bikes might be a much cheaper option.
Will they be able to carry that much on a bike?
We work with somebody. We custom build that. By the time we got to this only, right? I think we got to some 200 tons. Okay, let me put it that way. Okay, then by the time we got to this model, we pivoted, like say we got to, I think 250 tons to 300 tons, right? This is what we do.
Right now, how many tons do you do?
We do around like say 300 tons a day. Yeah.
300 tons a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
200 to 300 tons a day is what we deliver. Earlier, all these things we used to run everything ourselves. This collection center, fulfillment center, dispensary center, everything we used to run it ourselves, right? Today we co-create with the middlemen. So the traditional middlemen who are out there, we understood like say okay, we did this, right? We were able to scale the business, and at 300 tons a day, you'll control 8% of market share in Bangalore. 8% of fruits and vegetables is flowing in Bangalore. It's flowing through a platform today, right? But we're not profitable. We felt at 8% market share, if we're not profitable, then when will you ever get to profitability, right? This is not a business where like see at scale, when you say at scale, you'll profit. See, every geography there's a certain scale. You can't say pan India you'll get to some share, right? Because your logistics efficiency is at a geography level.
So you have to be positive on the geography level.
So that's when I understood like say what are the problems. We kept on going deeper again, and we had this one fundamental realization that the middlemen have certain efficiencies which as a corporate company you can never replicate.
What are certain types of
something like say for example you will hear this from few other industry counterparts, right? See the middlemen have, for example, like labor, for example. Okay, as a company you will say to ESI, PF, labor laws and all that stuff. As a middleman, they also have to. That's a principle and employment responsibility and all that. But fundamentally, like say they don't employ more than 10 people. And they work in a case where they work on a variable cost manner. They're able to negotiate with like say people that like say I'll pay you like say only like 5 rupees per kilogram or sorry 50 paise per kilogram. So it all became variable cost for us. We started like say working with the middlemen to understand like say what are the benefits they can bring to the table. For example, right, cost of monitoring. Okay, we used to. Okay, I think even today you will see like some 1 or 2 guys like sitting in office like say who will be monitoring our facilities.
From the camera, so that nothing is
correct. So you will see the problem is right. See, people will do some theft will happen, right? Labor will steal something, driver will steal something. It's perishables. Like say, I can take an apple and just eat it. Nobody can find it, right? Yeah. All these things used to happen. So we started doing a lot of things to monitor that. Okay, the more we monitor, we build technology, and the cost of monitoring keeps going up. So it is only bad for us at the end of the day, right? To monitor somebody, if somebody is like eating apples or not, I end up like say building technology for it, having somebody like say doing all that, and I feel like this is how. Then I'm only adding cost to it. But if I have a middleman and say I give the inventory responsibility to the middleman. Like if I deliver for example, right, today the item gets delivered to the MDC, and from there the MDC, we have a distribution partner, right? The distribution partner owns the responsibility from post that. If any pilferage happens post that, it's on you, man. It's not on me. Okay. At the micro scale, he can handle that. The problem is I cannot sit in Bangalore and like say control this pan India. But every person who's running the MDC, the distribution center, they control a small locality, small area.
So it's easier
in that
for
area,
them to
they can like say make sure that like say they control that, right? That ability is something like say we're not able to pull off at a company level. Again, the cost of monitoring is more costly if we try to pull it off, right? And we understood all of this. So the way the middlemen are able to leverage the labor cost advantage, logistics cost advantage, we never overload a vehicle. But if you look at like all the lorries coming from national lorries that's coming from Onion from Maharashtra to Bangalore, right? You will see overloading only happening. As a company, we'll never practice all of that. But that's how Indian efficiencies are built. So we felt unless we co-create along with the middlemen and leverage those efficiencies and apply our technology efficiencies on top of it, we are not building an effective alternate model.
And what's the benefit for the middlemen to work with you?
They get more business. They get more money. Their throughput increases. They have bandwidth and they will like make extra money in that bandwidth.
They will do more overloading. They will also leverage more laborers.
More as
in the sense right now only they are in some sense.
No. So it's like absolute. Okay, earlier they were like doing five trucks, for example. Today, because they are part of NinjaCart, they are able to go do 10 trucks. So the absolute potential grows up for them.
Got it. So which year are we on?
This transforms on 2021.
Okay.
So that's when we understood we should not compete with the middleman.
Okay.
Let's co-create. They have certain advantages. Let's respect that. We have certain advantages. Let's respect that. Let's see how to merge that, right? So we made that change. Today, our collection centers are being run by we call again DP micro entrepreneurs, right? Full centers being run by an entrepreneur. MDC is being run by an entrepreneur. So they all put their skin in the game, and they get a return for that effort, right? So that way, we're able to make it efficient. So we own the farmer, we own the retailer, we own the entire supply chain design, we own the entire supply chain technology, right? But the operations is being run by the middleman.
But earlier, when there were only three folks in the entire supply chain, right now there is another player. So the margins or the cost is now getting divided into 4. So does it also mean that the farmer is getting lower and
so today, as we see, our farmer gets 10% higher. We at least pay a farmer 1 rupee higher than what he or she gets in the market.
How are we able to do that even after we are another addition to the supply chain?
See, because like say everybody were like say, okay, they were charging for something, right? Every middleman earlier were like charging 5%, 10%, 15% for something, right? But now today we do the pricing. We end-to-end control the supply price for the farmer, price for the retailer, and we control the supply chain cost. The way we have designed and architected the system, our system is efficient effectively today as we speak. Our system is efficient than the traditional system. Hence, that all the margins that they used to make 10%. See, people used to. This is where we found the marketplace opportunity. Okay, for example, right earlier. So assume like say there's a farmer in in Shimla growing apples or farmer in Maharashtra growing onions, right? He'll sell it to a guy called production trader. The Aditya, the production trader, all that, right? From here, from Maharashtra, item will come to Bangalore Yeshwanthpur market. This is the consumption trader. From here, item will go to the wholesaler and then the retailer. This is how the chain goes. This guy makes a 10% to 15% commission. This guy makes a 10%, 15% commission, all that stuff. Now everybody here. So the reason why these two layers exist is because to see this is nothing but our collection center.
Right.
This is nothing but a fulfillment center. This is nothing but a distribution center. Right. So these are logically the market made these layers exist for a reason. Okay. But they had their own disadvantages, their inefficiencies. Right? For example, when we started understanding that marketplace are relevant, that's when we understood like, they also have certain problems. Why are they charging so much premium today, right? That is wastage. They predict and buy. If they don't sell everything, right, then there's a wastage. But since we are able to predict and buy at a much larger scale,
because you have data,
we control wastage much better, right? Then that flows back to the value for as farmers to farmers and retailers only at the end of the day. Every middleman like say predicts and buys. So there's an element of wastage, right? If you do the same prediction at a larger scale, then you are much better off. Second, we were able to match make farmers and we were able to reduce wastage in terms of transportation also much more significantly. For example, right? You take rich cards, for example. You will see if you put rich cards in sacks and transport, by the time item comes to the market, it will be broken only. Half will be broken. It's all wastage. But in our supply chain, everything moves in crates. So the moment I put in something in crate, I exactly know which farmer has put the item in which crate, and which crate has gone to which retailer. So if any quality complaint comes also, I know which farmer actually where the supply chain has got missed out. How do you fix it, right? So it's crates enabled RFID technology that we have ensured end-to-end traceability. This solves for the handling wastage. And then we worked on dynamic pricing in general. During the different, we started for every customer segment with convenience, with price. I told you, right? We started convenience and then moved to price. After that, today, around 70% of the customers that we have today are convenience seekers. See, you always start the hook with the price. For example, you take quick commerce, right?
Right.
Day one, they will always give you discounts. They'll say they'll get you started. But today, after you get used to convenience, then okay, now I'll pay 5 rupees extra premium for it. Right? This is exactly the benefit that we have the retailers also. We started with price and value proposition. Over a period of time, say convenience also became a value proposition for them, right? So in this case, again, then we can choose not to give them fully cheaper. This was all designed by the pricing engine, right? That we built. So that way, we were able to bring in these efficiencies and optimization. And on top of it, right, every user here, okay, when a farmer gives the item to the trader, there's a 15-day credit, okay? He'll give the item and say, give the money in 7 days, 15 days. When the trader forwards from Nashik, say, gets to Yeshwanthpur in Bangalore, right? Again, there'll be a 15-day credit. So everybody use credit to the other party and say, like, sir, I'll give you the goods now, you give me the money back after later, right? Now, because of this, what really happens is, they know at the year level, they lose 2%. Somebody will cheat or somebody will go bankrupt. So I'm bound to lose 2 to 3% of my revenue as a credit loss. So they start baking in that overall margins. Whenever a middleman buys and sells, they always bake in 2 to 3%.
For that 2 or 3% extra.
Right? But now today in the fulfillment business that we do end-to-end cash and carry. So all the retailers pay in cash for us.
Right.
So this credit loss is something that which was there in the middle, we have avoided.
Right.
So by solving for the matchmaking, by solving for wastage, by solving for credit loss,
you're able to bring in efficiencies which are got it.
Yeah. So this is how I think this is the reason why our system is efficient and we're able to give back to the farmer as well at the end of the day.
Also, you were mentioning that last 4 years you went ahead and solved the supply chain and this problem, and now you're solving the trust problem.
In the 9 years journey, for the first 5 years, right, we only solved the wastage problem. It's a supply chain problem, right? Farm to retail, how do you really make it more efficient, capture the wastage, capture all of that. That's what we're trying to focus on, and that is profitable for us, that's scaling, right? But in this journey, I told, like, say, one pivotal moment in 2020 was we had to co-create with the middleman. That understanding, that insight that we got. From then on, we've held, okay, now if you're choosing to co-create anyways, then what are the other problems that the ecosystem has? Trust. Any seller, when they work with the buyer, they're always afraid that if I give the item to the buyer, what if the buyer cheats me? Right, so so assume I'm forwarding my goods from Shimla to Bangalore, Shimla to Hyderabad, or Shimla to Chennai.
I won't go from Shimla to Bangalore just to collect that payment from one if in case he cheats.
Correct. See, I'll try to go, but it's a huge time loss for me, right? Like time loss, value loss, and once the good has left your place,
you can't do anything.
You can do multiple things, right? So, but the system. So, because of this, what happens is people only work with their own connections today.
Right.
Despite there are, like, say, 150 million farmers, 1 million traders, 13 million retailers, people only work with their own connections. They don't work with everybody.
Right.
This leads to a lack of access as well. They don't optimize globally. They only optimize locally. I know 5 people. I'll only optimize and Excel within 5. Okay. But within these 5 also, okay, on an average, a trader works with 30 people, 30 traders. Okay. A trader in Shimla will work with 30 traders pan India. A trader in Bangalore will work with 100 retailers or maybe 150 retailers. Right? Despite having the close community, they will still have defaults at the end of the year. That's where the credit default comes through.
The 2-3%.
That 2-3%, right? So we felt like, say, if we solve for the trust in this space, okay, then we can democratize this. We can simplify this space. So many middlemen are not required. Maybe very select middlemen can operate this efficiently.
Right.
This is the understanding that we had, and we started working towards it. So how do we solve for trust? This was, we were able to learn from the banking space, right? 20 years back in India, if as a consumer, you go to a bank, you borrow money, and if at all you default, only that bank will know. Okay? After After that, like say credit bureaus as a concept came into India.
Right.
So if a consumer defaults in one bank, then
And if he goes to other bank, the bank will tell कि आप भागो default.
correct. That's because all the banks are like say consolidating the data and like putting a common repository called CAC, which Sybil or Equifax, CRIF, all that started leveraging, right? So this is how across the world credit bureaus have solved the problem in the banking space. We felt, can we build a very similar infrastructure for the agri trade space? Today, if a buyer cheats a seller, only that seller gets to know. The entire community of sellers do not get to know about that. But if we solve for that, if a buyer gets to know, if the entire seller community gets to know, then it will act as a very strong return for the buyer, not a default. So we started building this platform. Internally, we use the word Agri Trade Bureau for it. We started building this. Now, what we do is like say when we okay, at a very, very simple level, right? What we do is like, if we take any agri buyer, we give them a credit card. Okay, imagine this, right? I'm just simplifying it for you to consume it. We give a digital credit card.
Right.
For distance sake. It's not actually a credit card, but imagine it's a to be credit
What
card,
is it actually?
See, in the backend,
It's just a number.
You know, in the backend, it's actually a term loan or a credit line. It's not a credit card, okay? But for the user, he relates with, we simulate it that way, right? So we give them a credit card and say, sir, you can use this credit card to purchase against any registered seller on my platform, right? So any risk is, then NinjaCart, along with this banking partners, we take care of the risk for you. That's how we do it. So now what we tell a seller, any buyer who comes to you and uses the NinjaCart trade card and buys, please give the item. Once the contract is made, NinjaCart stands guaranteed. Right. So this solves for the trust. And a lot of people have told, say, I don't want the money also tomorrow. So it's not like I want money instantly. I'm okay if the user pays the money in 7 days. So we have two types of policies, right? We say like, say, if you want the money right away, I'll charge you X%. If you are okay to wait for 10 days and get the money after 10 days, then I'll charge you Y%. So not every time people want instant money. They just want to guarantee that my money is safe. Then we built this custom the trade card, right? So all agri buyers, we started underwriting them. And again, when I'm using the word agri buyers in a very generic context, because again, imagine a retailer, right? So a retailer can use his agri card, the trade card, to buy from a trader. Right. A trader can use his card to buy from a Shimla trader. Or from a farmer, both ways. So any agri buyer can use this to buy from any agri seller in some form and shape, right? Right. We started building this.
And if somebody defaults, you will notify the entire community about it. How do you go about it? Because this is a similar insight which kinds of binds together a lot of societal credit society. So बहुत सारी पुरानी there are women credit society. वहाँ पर all the society, they just put in money in case a member of the community wants some money. They can take a loan from that community also, and they will 100% return the money because it's a community aspect. They will get reputation damage in the society. So how do you, if somebody loses, how do you pass on the information? How do you defame that person?
Okay, so again, so the intention is not to again, by design, right? The intention is not to defame. The intention is to promote good behavior and promote sellers to talk to their buyers to get them to behave in a good manner. Right. So what we do is like we have multiple ways to make this happen. Majority of times we incentivize the sellers to say, okay, if all your buyers didn't default, then you get some incentive back. So they will only promote it, right? They'll call the buyers and say like, sir, you're supposed to pay in 10 days. You should pay in 10 days. If you not pay, why you not paid? So whenever the seller talks to the buyer, majority of the times he'll get solved. So the way we have built this is like say, so we try to give disproportionate business for the buyer if he or she is showing good behavior. So I think that's how the design is. As a virtue of that, if somebody is very, very bad, the community also gets to know, which becomes bad for them eventually. See, for example, if somebody is like say using the trade card and like buying from you, and all of a sudden like say next time he came and like say I don't have trade card, I don't have the limit. And then the seller will ask like say last time but you bought from me, why today you're not having it? Then logically let answer like say saying that like say I don't have it, right? Then see this is where the deterrent comes in. It's not like I had to go and broadcast it saying that like say right, I will not recommend this user anymore. I will not promote this user anymore. That way then becomes a deterrent. So then people know, okay, now the more and more good behavior show, I get better opportunity. If I don't show good behavior, then I'll be left out. What are some challenges that you're facing at this point in time? I think majority of the challenges which I am personally excited about and thinking about is like say, how do you scale the company at the same time balance and keep innovating, right? Agri is a huge market, okay? I don't think one company can ever solve all of Agri. I strongly believe multiple people will come together, co-create, and we being one of the early movers in the space, pioneers in the space, we believe we have the opportunity to work with others also and create this ecosystem, right?
That's why the venture fund that you launched.
That's why the venture fund launched. We've invested in some companies. We have partnered with few companies. We have acquired few companies. A lot of that happened through that, right? And we strongly believe in that. Like say, this ecosystem has to be created together effectively.
What are some problems? What are some challenges that you see? What are some gaps that you see in the current market that you think any young person who is interested in, who is very fascinated about AgriTech market can try to solve for it? So, for example, we were recently we did with this company called Farmart. So, Alec told कि there is one problem that I clearly see कि इंडिया में जो फार्मर के बच्चे हैं वो फार्म लैंड पे काम करना ही नहीं चाहते, वो जा रहे हैं बाहर. So I predict that there will be a huge shortage of laborers on the farmlands. So if some young entrepreneur wants to solve this, he should solve this because I clearly see this happening. What are some other problems? Because you are from that industry and there are a lot of young folks who are trying to, find opportunities. What are some opportunities, gaps that you're seeing?
So I think my fundamental worry is a lot of farmers don't want their kids to become farmers. That is different. This is
exactly.
different. Right? And for me, this is because this goes back to our motto, right? Better lives for every agri citizen, right? We feel at some point we used to say better life for every farmer, but today we believe in the philosophy of like co-creating with everybody in the value chain. So better life for every agri citizen, right? That's what that's the vision we live by today. In this journey, I believe we're trying to solve for the output. Once the item is ready, how do you take it to the retail point in an efficient manner? That is what we focus on today. But how do you really work with the farmer to increase his overall ROA rate in the same farm plot? What is the right crop to grow to get the best ROA? That I think, I'm sure the world will change in the next, 30, 40 years. Today people don't have a way of, for example, right? This fundamental problem of what crop to grow to get best ROA, if not a science today, okay? Farmer just goes to gut. And you will see tomato ka price point in the last 8 years, right? I've seen tomato ka price point going to the cost of production of tomato is 6 rupees. Okay, always 6 rupees a kilogram, roughly. Okay, roughly. I've seen the price point going to 60 rupees, selling price to 60 rupees. I've seen the selling price going to 3 rupees also. 4 times I've seen last 8 years, price point has gone to less than 6 rupees, which is 4 rupees.
Just that's why the farmers are just ulta kar dete trucks road pe.
Correct. This is because a lot of farmers end up growing tomato at the same time frame. So for the same demand, you have more supply. See, in a supply demand game, right? Demand is fairly constant in India. Okay. There are only so many people in India. They only consume so much, right? So largely it's constant, except for festivals, may thoda zyada hoga, all that, right? But generally it's constant. Problem largely is with supply. So no farmer, when they choose to grow the crop today, they do not know 90 days down the line, how many farmers will be how many are growing, sowing today. So okay, when you sow tomato today, after 90 days the harvest comes.
Right.
The harvest comes for next 30 days. So between 90th day and the 120th day, the farmer harvests the tomato 8 times. This is what generally happens.
Okay.
Now, when they sowed the seed, no one knows today how many have parallelly growing, what will the effective output on this particular day, no one knows. This is the reason why supply is so elastic. And it leads to price variations, right? Not demand, it's actually supply.
Let's say if I want to solve this problem, how can I collect the data? What are some touch points where all these farmers can, can give the data?
See, for example, you can try to collect this data at the time of seed buying.
हाँ, जब वो seed buy कर रहे हैं.
When they're buying the seed, you can try to collect the data point at that point.
Do you have that touch point? No. You are not providing inputs?
Not yet. Yeah.
Not yet means, are you trying?
We're not providing inputs at all. But I'm trying to work with farmers. All the farmers who give me output, I'm trying to work with them on next season planning, next crop planning. I don't want to get into inputs game. I think a lot of companies are trying to solve it. Say, I think Dehat is there, Agrostat is there.
Farmer.
So I'm saying multiple companies are trying to solve the input space. Let them solve for it. I think we are an output player. We'll choose to remain an output player. But we're trying to work with the farmers to create and say what is the next crop they're trying to work on. So we're trying to build that infrastructure because again, I close a crop, then I focus on the next crop. So that's the other touch point. One touch point is when they buy seeds. Another touch point is when they close the sale of their previous crop. Right. That's also a touch point to say what is the next crop you're planning to grow.
Do you think there is enough space in the market, which there is enough gap in the market from between output side and the input side? For example, do you see any bridge between a Farmart or a Dehat of the world to a NinjaCart in the country?
No, I strongly believe like say in some firm all of us will leverage each other in the future. Okay. So even today, for example, like say we don't own trade, we don't build trade brands. Okay. If you look at a lot of companies, you take like say for example, I think even Farmart does Farmart, Dehat, Vekul, all of these people are building trade brands. Okay. We don't build trade brands. We have the low cost distribution channel to the retailers. We buy from farmers, sell to retailers in an efficient manner.
And what are they trying to do?
They are
What's
building a trade brand.
brand?
The trade brand is like say they're putting they have has a brand called Honest Farms Makhana and all that, right?
Right.
So they have this brand called Honest Farms. Jumbotail has their own trade brand. Vekul has their own trade brand called like I think Kitchen G. So multiple trade brands, right? So I'm saying people are trying to build their own trade brands to launch D2C. They're trying to work with e-commerce companies, quick commerce and all that. But I believe like say over a period of time we can actually like say take them to the retail stores, the Kirana stores. Over a period of time, we'll start leveraging each other. I think it's a large market. This is not a market where it's a winner-take-all market. As just two companies can survive, nothing like that. Right? It's such a huge market. As long as you're adding value to the user, in some form and shape, you like keep creating value.
Flipkart deal happened, right?
Yeah.
Flipkart has invested in NinjaCart. Help us understand, when a company like that invests, what are certain other things that you learn that you enjoy apart from the capital aspect? Or was it only capital?
No, it's definitely not capital. So, okay, see, there was capital.
Okay.
There's definitely an opportunity for building a larger business opportunity. If they're building on, like say, they were planning to build a grocery vertical. So we say like we will power their fruits and vegetables in the grocery vertical, right? So that's going on today, right? We are supplying to them on Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad. We power them fully, right?
So Flipkart पे अगर मैं वो कुछ भी खरीद रहा हूँ तो वो आपके
the backend is from us today, right? So there's a lot is happening. So there's second, but I think most importantly, like I think I saw the benefit of getting again. Going back to my first thing, right? Getting another set of mentors. So Flipkart also has skin in the game to like make NinjaCart win. I can go and like say talk to the leaders of Flipkart to understand like say what it took them to build Flipkart. The way I learned from Raghu on like say what it took him to build TaxiForSure. I'm saying like say I'm going to learn from few more leaders who have been a part of Flipkart, build Flipkart. It's a company that's been over 15 years. They have their own learning curve, their own journey, right? I got to learn. I go and ask them, say, why is this policy designed this way? What are the various ESOP policies you had in the past? Why you never tried this? Why you tried that? What worked? What didn't work? I'm saying I can actually brainstorm with them and pick their brains, right? They have scaled the company, and we are in that path today. I can learn from them and like say try to short circuit the journey, thoda, yeah.
So if you face any problem, you just go to Flipkart.
I ask them. I try to ask them. Like say, so we have board members. So I talk to those board members, or even outside board. I know people in Flipkart now. So I see again, and that's something I believe in. It's people fundamentally genuinely want things to work. So they're open towards ideas. Right? They're open towards helping out.
Do you know this company called Udaan?
Yeah, I know Udaan.
So Udaan is also in B2B commerce.
Yeah.
Do they do groceries, fruits and vegetables?
No, they were doing fruits long back, but I think they fundamentally focus on like say other categories like say electronics, fashion. They do probably staples, rice and all they do, but they don't do fruits and vegetables.
Got it. So
we largely do fruits and vegetables.
So I've observed this in all the companies that once you reach to a Series D or Series E level, the amount of equity that the founders own is just a single percent, is a single digit, right? Yeah. At that point of time, when ownership is diluted so much, when you know 90%, 95% of the company is owned by other folks, and that's good also. But how you personally have that motivation? Because earlier, entire thing was your child, right? Now only 1% is your child, right? So how do you?
I don't think you feel that way. Okay. See, for me, again, aspiration goes back to creating a large scale impact. That's what I resonate with. Okay. So, is NinjaCart giving me an opportunity to create the large scale impact that I'm looking for? Yes. Right. That's the first answer. Okay. Second, do I have the flexibility to run the company with the direction that I have? Yes, right? And in that path. Third, if you really talk about wealth creation or the ownership mindset, value creation,
Ownership,
right? I'm saying, see again, just because I own single-digit percentage today doesn't mean that, like, say, I don't get to decide for NinjaCart. I get to decide for NinjaCart and operate. I'm still the owner. Got it, right? No, I don't know how else to quantify that. I decide. We have a vision. We decide the strategy towards this vision, and we execute that strategy, right? So that is something, like, say, that's purely on me and the team. Okay. So I don't see any ownership change because of your 50% became, like, say, 5%, right? Doesn't mean that, like, say, your ownership changes at all. Okay. In terms of this thinking that 5% you're owning lesser today. What if? So this is the interesting thing that Thiru used to talk to me, right? Either you get to, like, say, own 100% of zero,
100%,
or own 1% of from 1 trillion, right? So it doesn't matter. Like, say, from that standpoint, right? It's not about, like, say, owning, like, say, 100% of, like, say, 1 lakh business. It's about, like, owning 1% of a 1 trillion business is much more logical. Right? So I think that's the that's the philosophy that we started embracing. But this is on in terms of wealth creation level. But if you look at sheer ownership, right? I don't think when the percentage changes, right? When at some point it was like 20% for me. Today it's like probably, like, say, less than 5% for me. But the ownership has never changed. It's always the same.
To all the young founders, would you do certain things differently if you are to again grow from seed to Series E, Series D? Would you apply certain techniques in order to little bit optimize on the equity that you will own at the last point? Would you do certain things differently to optimize for the equity till you reach Series D or Series E? Any general things?
See, I would actually say never optimize for that. That's my philosophy, right? Never optimize for how much you'll end up owning is my personal take. So I'll say, like, say, for example, let's say, typically you can delay a fundraise to optimize, right? Like, say, if you delay the fundraise, you can, like, say, grow into a better valuation, you can get that, so you'll dilute lesser, you can think. But the point is, we are all building something and we are here to build, okay? So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter whether you're, like, owning something of 1 trillion or 1.2 trillion, right? It doesn't change. It doesn't change a lot, okay? Absolute. So again, right, I can live peacefully with, like, say, if I have a job where I get to make, like, say, 2 lakh rupees income a month, I can live with my lifestyle. I can live peacefully.
Right.
I don't have any great needs about, like, say, which means that 25 lakh job, right? I'm saying I 25 lakh per year job, my needs are satisfied. Let me put it that way, okay? So don't try to over-optimize for the equity that you own. That's what I would say. But put the company first. If, for example, if you can raise funds, have enough cash, because you will see cycles. There'll be good cycles, bad cycles. If you have enough cash, you can actually live through the cycle, and you can actually focus on building. Okay, instead of that, if you're, like, say, trying to optimize for that single penny, and because of that, like, say, you don't have
funds,
then unnecessarily it's a risky state to be in, right?
Got it.
But today I feel this fact that anything that I do today, am I, like, say, bridging the gap towards the intrinsic value the company deserves, right? So there's a valuation the company you're at, okay? When you go to the public markets, they will, like, reward you for a particular value, right? Now, cautiously, we'll have to keep working towards, like, say, bridging that gap. Today, what you are at, and
the intrinsic value has to
keep merging, right? I think that is something, like, say, I think every founder should be cognizant of that. I never had this perspective. See, I didn't understand how valuations work. Okay, let me put it that way.
Right.
I never bothered about it. That's a different thing altogether. But like, say, now I know I have to create shareholder value. So it's not about just for me. I can choose not to care.
Right.
But my shareholder cares.
Right.
My employees care. Now for that, when I say my investors care, my employees care, I have to make sure that, like, say, when we go public, we bridge that gap, and, like, we are at a stage where the intrinsic value of the company is equal to the public market value, right? So you have to keep cautiously building towards that the right way.
Got it. So let's say NinjaCart has some, 700, 800 million valuation that at the last round. And you know that there is some intrinsic value that can be higher, lower, or even closer. Number one, are you doing Aswath Damodaran's course to understand that intrinsic value? How are you? And second thing, how are you understanding that intrinsic value? And second thing, what are certain things that you are doing in order to bridge the gap between?
No, okay. See, intrinsic to bridge the gap. Okay, you just focus on the core of the business, nothing else. Okay. You sit, focus on, like, growing the business, focus on like say generating profits in the business, just this. At the end of the day, what like say everything boils down to the speed at which you grow your business and the effective EBITDA profits you make. That's what finally matters. So just keep your heads down and like say keep executing towards it. Right? That is what matters at the end of the day. It's not just scale; it's also profitability, right? I'm saying it's a combination of both. You keep focusing on that. You can't do anything differently. But I'm saying you being aware of the fact that that's the goal. Okay, so don't just like focus only on one thing. Or just don't be minus and say only keep scaling without like focusing on profitability at all, right? Somewhere you have to keep balancing. See, it can be like say either I do 80% scale, 20% profitability focus, or it can be 50-50, or it can be 20-80. But it cannot be. In my opinion, it can never be 100-0.
Makes sense.
That's wrong then, right? And that comes from you having that perspective that eventually I have to converge there, so I have to constantly keep working towards that. In some form and shape, I keep working towards that, right?
Of course, that's a journey, you have to burn, you have to make your own mistakes. And, you mentioned me 100 different iteration of network design. And you would not be able to do that, profitably. Nobody can do that. But because now you are profitable, do you have an arsenal of one or two things that helped you achieve profitability? That all the young founders who are trying to achieve profitability, can they do one or two things differently in order to reach that goal faster? Do you have any inside thoughts on this?
So for example, like say, I always like say hindsight, if I sit back and think, I always feel that if at all I've not scaled the business to multiple cities, if I was only in one city, I would have got to it, I would have fixed the model and got to profitability much more faster. I have this feeling, okay?
कि हम depth में पहले जाते हैं, फिर width में जाते हैं.
Correct. One city को make it profitable first, model is sorted, then only scale, right? But again, like say, there is competition. You also have this doubt that as a model is scalable across cities. One city is working.
Is the consumer behavior same across different?
You also have this doubt. You also have this thing that like say, and then instead of like say optimizing at like say we have multiple, there's GMV, there's revenue, there's a gross margin, there's contribution margin, there is city EBITDA, company EBITDA, correct? When do you take a call? Are you going to take a call? Okay, gross margin will scale, or contribution margin will scale, or EBITDA will scale.
That's a very
right now is again it's a very very balanced thing, right? Like say at that point, I think based on multiple factors, like say the external investor sentiments, the overall competition factor, and the conviction that we had on the profitability proof point of the model, we felt we had to scale, and we scaled. But unfortunately, towards the end, after scaling to few cities only, we realized this fundamental difference, right? We had to co-create with the middlemen and not replace them, right? That came a bit later for us.
Got it.
In that situations, I think I would have taken the same decisions. Maybe in the future also, I'll end up taking the same decisions, right? Because like say, assume the other way. Assume like say, if you're in one city only, you've proven this market, but by the time somebody else like, say, capture the rest of the market, right?
You've lost the
then you'll lost the battle. So it's always a trade-off.
Makes sense.
It's just that you have to be cognizant of it. Like say, yeah.
This is insightful. Why are you rebranding? Number one. And if I am building a brand, if I am a young person, what are certain things that I need to do in order कि मैं बाद में मेरे को rebrand or because rebranding is hard, right?
No, I think see this thing happened, right? See first 5 years we only supply chain tech company. Okay. Next 4 years we also build the fintech capability to build the marketplace. Right. Correct. To solve the trust problem, right? And so we are no more a supply chain company. We do multiple. Using technology, we solve supply chain first. Using technology, we solve fintech next. Now we are trying to do a few more as well.
What are those aspects?
We are trying to work on information supply. We feel the example that I gave, right? If we can work with the farmers to tell them what to grow. I'm saying we work on information as a vector, right? After supply chain, after fintech, we are working on information as a vector. So I'm thinking we will keep using technology to keep building more things, right? On top of it, one more relation happened. So one, we have no more supply chain company. We do a lot more. We're an end-to-end agri player. Second, we are not focusing only on uplifting farmers. We are here to like say uplift every agri citizen, right? So we felt, and this has evolved in the last like say 4 years, and we felt like it's time for us to propagate that. Let's do a rebranding to articulate that correctly, right? So earlier we never had a mission statement we had, but the same we know, okay, now everybody. What are we here to do? We are here to create better lives for every agri citizen, right? At least that's the clarity that we have for ourselves now. We are here to change every agri citizen's lives. When you do a rebranding, what are things that you do apart from having a mission statement, vision statement? What are certain things? Say we again, different people have. You see, we are a B2B company today, right? What is it? Okay. Unless you think farmer is a consumer in every other shape, like say we are a B2B company today, right? So we don't do we didn't do a lot of things what a normal B2C company would do. For example, like say you take when Grofers rebranded themselves Blinkit, right? The amount of things that they did was crazy, right? But we know we are a B2B company. We have like say appeal to our audience. Who is the audience? One, our users, or the traders, farmers, retailers. This is our audience. Second, our internal employees. Third, our potential talent. Who can join the company in the future, right? These are the three people whom probably we want to understand what NinjaCart does today, right? So we did things only to target these communities. We didn't do a lot of marketing activities globally to just, we didn't want to do that. We targeted only on these three personas. Like say we did a brand video. I'm not sure whether you got to look at a brand video.
Saw that on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, so that brand video resonated with a lot of our users. They are able to see, okay, this is the benefit that you bring to the table. That gave a lot of perspective to the outside world. Okay, now NinjaCart is not just a supply chain company anymore. They also do commerce. They give credit. They do multiple things.
If you have to target these retailers, how do you target? For example, if I'm a B2C company और मुझे अपना जैसे मैं Blinkit हूँ मान लो, तो मुझे अगर कहीं पर डालना है तो I'll use signboards locally वैसे करूँगा. But if you have to target retailers of all the agri things, how do you target them?
In the market. So our retailers come to the market every day, right? So in the market, we partner with the traders in the market. So we don't compete with the market traders anymore. We co-create with them. So in the market, if you see, you will see NinjaCart branding a lot of markets.
How did you got Nandan sir on your cap table?
So like a Series B round, we got a meeting with Nandan, and he's a very curious person, right? I think Nandan has shaped us a long way in the journey. Okay, there's one board meeting where I remember, I'll come back to how we got Nandan, but like say,
please
one of the in the board meeting, I went and told Nandan, see, Nandan, we're doing 1,000 tons a day. This was like say 2020, 1,000 tons a day we're doing. I think next 5 years, I have a way to make it profitable. Next 5 years, maybe we'll do 10,000 tons a day, right? Nandan said, "Theek hai, great. As an investor, I'm very happy. But when you came and met me for the first time, you told you want to create a large-scale impact. Why are you limiting yourself to 10,000 tons a day?" Okay, I'm like, Nandan, you understand I'm running a perishable company, right? 1,000 tons, say 10,000 January, so much I had like put a lot of like say I had to do a lot of heavy lifting and do it. Then he's like, yeah, he asked like say through his other co-founders with me, and he asked through, hey, what is Agri market size? Okay, then he's like say fruits and vegetables 300, fruits and vegetables is $100 million, right? How much you say how much will 10,000 tons go to? How much will 1,000 tons go to? Right? He did back of the man and said, today we're at 0.1%. Okay, so at 1,000 tons a day we're at 0.1%. At 10,000 tons a day in 5 years we'll do 1%. Okay, so I'm okay. You're saying 10,000 tons a day you will build a multi-crore, 1,000 crore company, you will be profitable. You're saying I'm very happy, but you decide for yourself whether you are happy with it or not. Because your aspiration was to create a large-scale impact. Is 1% is what you wanted to build. Right? So honestly, I was a CEO, right? I'm not a big picture guy per se. I'm like, I did 100. So the way I explained to you, right? 30 did, I did 60, I did 100, I did 500, I did 1,000. I'm a bottom-up operations guy, right? But the day Nandan gave me this perspective, I felt like an idiot. I felt like say, dude, like what am I really doing? Like say, Then I feel like I told Nandan in the meeting. I said, see, I hear you now. I never had this top-down perspective. I was very bottom-up. I never. This is an advice I will give to every new person, any founder, right? Always have a macro perspective. Don't keep thinking only bottom up. You need to have top-down perspectives, right? And I actively started like say working towards that. Like, after that change, right? That how do we? And from then on, right? The aspiration has been how to get a 20% market share in the space. If in some form and shape which we touch upon the lives of 20% of users in the space, then we are creating a large-scale impact, not 1% of users.
So thinking big,
right?
Got it.
I think that so I think Nandan was instrumental in like making us think that.
What were some other things? What were some other board meetings, or what were other things that you learned from Nandan sir?
Nandan, this was one. So in another meeting, like say, we were talking about like say I'm trying to scale this business. These are the constraints of this, right? Then he brought in a philosophy of you have to simplify. You figure out how. You have more number of moving parts in the supply chain business that we have a lot of moving parts. The more moving parts you have, you'll always like say be slow. So how do you decouple your systems? How do you and that's what led to marketplace idea as well for us. If you decouple and operate, you will scale faster and eventually you can converge. So instead of trying to build everything in a coupled manner, try to build a scale in a decoupled manner and eventually converge. So today, for example, in the marketplace business, we acquire the retailers at scale in the marketplace business, and we also power them eventually with a fulfillment solution. So then you're not trying to build demand, supply chain at the same time. You're building
decouple, then integrating it last.
Yeah. So things like this, right? I think very similar learnings, right? I think a board has been a fantastic board. Be it Axel, Nandan, Walmart, Flipkart, Raghu, Fantastic board we had right from day one. I think that I'm grateful to.
How did you get in Nandan sir on the board?
Yeah, Nandan like say yeah. So we got
Series B?
Series B. We got a meeting with him and like say he's very curious. I asked like say what are you guys doing, right? And then he asked like say how does explain me how onion works. We explain the entire onion ka value chain. Explain how potato works. We explained that fully. Then explain. So he's very curious to understand how each value chain works. Every SKU has a different value chain.
Right.
Potato goes into cold storage and comes. Onion directly comes from.
So he asked you how
the market works, how the system works, right? And he asked, what's your aspiration? I said, like, say, my aspiration is to create a large scale impact in the space, right? Like, say, if we get to, like, say, change the lives of a million people, nothing like it. Like, say, I want to create that. This is an opportunity for me to create a large scale impact. Right. When I started the B2C company, no, I never had this feeling. Okay, I always told you, like, say, I started the company with the mindset that I'll learn, right, and I'll figure out. But when I pivoted to B2B, I knew, no, this is an idea I will put my entire life on. This is an idea where I get to influence farmers and retailers at the grassroots level. This is an idea where I can create a large-scale impact, right? I knew that, and that's exactly what I told Nandan. And he felt like this is a population scale problem. Like very similar to how payments is a population scale problem. Agri is a population scale problem. Nice idea. I'll try to work with you guys. That's how he came. He came for the vision. Yeah.
You mentioned that you watched a lot of you read a lot of books. Tell us one or two or three.
Not a lot of books. Okay.
Earlier.
No, see, I used to read a lot of blogs back then. Okay, before
NinjaCart. What was certain blogs like
say back then? Like say right from TechCrunch all the way. Right? I'm thinking this was like during my college days and IIM days, right?
Got it.
Again, back then, it's not your story. You used to have Next Big What. There are multiple blogs about Indian startup ecosystem. In globally, you'll see like say TechCrunch, Mashable, multiple tech blogs, right? I think this is what I used to read in the past. Okay. Then after NinjaCard, like say for the first 5 years, actually, honestly, like, say I didn't really do a lot of reading and all that. So again, that was my mistake. Okay, if you choose, it means that I chose something instead. If I had the maturity, I would have read back then also, right?
Okay.
Today, if I had the maturity, I would have focused on my health also back then. Today, the way I focus on my health, I could have focused on my health also during the course of the journey. This is also an advice of you to any new founder, right? Just because you're on a journey of like say building something, don't screw up your health, don't screw up your learning journey on that. Be a perennial learner, right? And always keep focusing on your health as well. Don't screw up on that.
Were there any hard stops that you felt on your health? What was that?
No, not really. I only felt okay. Today, it's just like say you're if you're not in the best of your health, right? You're not actually like say giving 100% to a company anyways. So that relation, like say, came over a period of time for me, right? At some point, like I was like, say, I was weighing 120 kgs, and I'm like, this way, I'm not, I'm just not doing justice to myself in the first place. So I've just started focusing on it.
2 or 3 ways that you are focusing on your health. Any 2 or 3 good habits that you have picked?
I do. I don't eat sugar. I don't have sugar at all.
Okay.
The last 3 years, I cut down on sugar.
But fruits, तो आप लेते हो ना?
No, I don't.
Fruits भी नहीं.
Fruits has sugar. Yeah.
Yeah,
no sugar. Okay. So even today you saw me having coffee, but I no sugar. Yeah, no sugar. Yeah. And second, like say I do fast. I do intermittent fast plus I do every Monday I do a full day fast. So that works for me. For my working style that works. And I'm trying to get into going back to I used to play tennis. I'm trying to go back to playing tennis regularly. I'm not regular yet, but
where do you play tennis? In Gulfpit or?
No. In my apartment, there's a court and a few other NinjaCard employees. We all play at a place.
Got it. What is your favorite travel destination?
So I want to go to Iceland. I want to go to Bali. I want to go to Cambodia, Peru. There are a lot of places I have in my mind. So I have a lot of destinations to go to. Okay, I've only gone to some. So I during my IIM days, I went to Europe. I went to almost like say, almost all the. I had 120 days with no attendance. Okay, I just traveled. Okay, so 120 days of bliss, right? So I traveled a lot. And back then I had time. I had only 5 lakh rupees money with me. With 5 lakh, I transferred. I traveled for 120 days. I have aspirations to travel the rest of the world. Iceland is something I've been thinking about quite some time now. So mostly that will be next destination.
Which is your favorite food place?
I actually like good, well-cooked home food, man. I love that. For my topic would be like say Magnolia Bakery first. Then I'll say Glenn's Because. Then I'll say Artinsea. Okay. So this is my topic for that, right? If you take like say biryani, I have my own 10.
Tell me 1 or 2.
I like Meghna, then different style, right? So then I like Rashtrakutas, That's for a different flavored biryani. Then I like say Star Ambur Star biryani. That's South Indian. So I'm saying different. You take parota. I have different flavors. I have North Indian parathas. Kapoos Cafe is best in Bangalore. Okay. South Indian parota, like there's a place called Chef Pillai in. There's a very good Kerala parota. Okay. Again, man. So food, everything you ask, I'll have a place. Like say, definitely I'll have a place.
Which is your favorite AgriTech startup?
NinjaCard.
If you have to predict one thing about future, because a lot of times when you say, you leverage upon some opportunity, it's always about what will happen in the world 5 years down the lane, and if I am able to build something in that direction.
Yeah.
And right time.
The 0 to 1 of Elon Musk, the Peter Thiel, right?
Huh.
It'll have a very similar philosophy.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Predict the future. Yeah.
What is one thesis about future that you have, and it can be in the agri space, it can be in the health space, anything.
See, the average life expectancy of people
will increase?
Have increased so far in the last 20 years.
Right, yes.
Right?
Huh.
I feel
it will reverse.
If we are the same, it will reverse.
How?
Because, see, technology investment, there's a lot of technology changes that's happening, a lot of technological changes, right? But so are our food habits. Unless we cautiously change our food habits, just because the technology innovation happened to increase our lifespan, that not compensate is what I believe. So unless fundamentally people see, again, technology change has increased, but so are our cancer rates, so has our heart disease rates.
Right.
It's just that you have better technology to handle that when it happens. Correct. It's not as like say the rate of heart disease or rate of cancer has gone down. Right. The rate has gone up. You just have technology to handle that.
Got it.
So I think in the future. It can. That's a possibility. Unless people change their food habits. This is my hunch, right? Second, I have this fascination that somewhere in my lifetime, okay, I think I'll see a case where, like, say, AI will outsmart us. Okay.
The technological singularity, huh?
Yeah, I strongly believe in our lifetime. I mean, say, okay, I always used to feel that in some lifetime and in some time span it will happen.
Right.
That I always used to believe. But because of the speed at which I've seen the technology change in the last 5 years,
you believe
I feel in my lifetime only mostly I think we will only see it. I only see it.
And what do you think? Once the machines are smarter than us, they will be able to build smarter machines, and that cycle will go on. What will happen if we achieve technological singularity? If machines will outsmart human, what do you think? What kind of world we will be?
I know. I think, see, today how humans coexist, I think we'll coexist. For everybody, there needs to be a purpose. I think if it evolves to a level where it's smarter than us, it will also try to coexist. Because humans today, we're chosen to coexist. Before this, right, all the animals, right, it used to kill each other. It used to, like, say, that's how the world was built initially, right? But when the evolution to humans happened, we all figured out a way to communicate, gossip, figure out a way to coexist, correct? I think the next evolution also will try to coexist only. But what that coexistence would be, I think that's up to wild imagination. Everybody can believe in their own story. I remember, but I don't see when I'm saying AI will outsmart. I don't think it will be a world where, like, say, we'll all die. It'll demolish us, right? I think it will only try to coexist is what my belief is. But it will have its own. See, today India tries to coexist with other countries. We have treaties, we have this and all that. Right. Similarly, we'll figure out a way to coexist.
If you were to interview your mentor, Raghu sir, what will be certain things that you will ask him in order to optimize the insights for all the young folks, all the 50,000 young folks who will watch this?
I'll definitely try to answer. I'll try to ask him about if he read it TaxiForSure, what are things he will do differently. I'll definitely. Again, see, let me put this way, right? That's a question I ask any founder.
Okay.
Because that helps. Those are the key learnings, right? Like, say, majority of times people will say, I'll do the same way. But if they choose to do it differently, the 2-3 things which will make them do differently, then those are very, very critical insights, right? Okay. So that is something I'll definitely ask Raghu. If you read in TaxiForSure, how he would do it differently.
So how do you enforce that aspect of motivation for health at a company level?
So recently, I think they are doing a context called. So there's a program called Meta going on in the company, within the company. So there, like say, we take a health challenge. Like say, we have some multiple health markers, blood markers, and we tell people to take the blood markers. And say, like say, we give them a nutritionist program. 6 months time we take, and we try to improve that, right? And we see which team outperform. It's again a group of people do it. There's also a peer group pressure, social pressure, and all that. Say some 10 teams did that. Which team changed their blood markers drastically, right? We did that. Recently, we did something called Walk the Health Challenge. So, who's a consistent? We all synchronize our. We all put a leaderboard with our watches. So we know who's a consistent health freak. Who's walking the most in the last, like say, one month.
And do you reward it? Do you
We
incentivize?
rewarded that. Okay. So we try doing a lot of things to keep. We run a free blood camp. Health checkup camp to at least make people realize that this is where you stand today. Then you decide whether to focus or not, right? So
क्यों लोगों को पता ही नहीं होता.
so we started doing all of these things. We believe we're building a very elegant organization now. So I think health will be a part of the framework. Yeah, culture and talent is one. Health is another. Third, the thing that I told, right? Like say, how do you balance between scale and profitability? Right from day one. I told you we scaled, then we understood the model has to be changed and all that, right? I think how do you really balance that? See, it's hindsight knowledge. I understand that. I think, but this feeling that having a top-down perspective and right from day one balancing towards a long-term path, right? I think that's something today. If I start anything again now, I'll start with that. I'll have a not just a bottom-up perspective, but also a very elegant top-down perspective, which will like guide me towards the future at every point in time. Yeah. See, bottom-up perspective is required for execution, okay? But the top-down is required for you to have a long-term clarity and get there. Yeah, I think this is what I tell. This is how if I start something new, I think these are 3 things I'll never sacrifice on.
Wow.
Yeah. Raghu ke saath again, this is one question I'll probably ask. I don't. So I keep talking to him. So I have anything, I'll keep talking to him all the time. So even during the TaxiForSure times, I told you he okay, in one of the forums I think they gave some R&R to product managers and I didn't get an award, but Raghu came and gave me an award saying that there was a founder pick award. So the committee didn't give me an award for product, but like say Raghu gave me some it's a Bravo card or it's a worthwhile employee card, right? So he gave me that. And I told Raghu, like, say, it's not for this, you have to spend time with me. This card and all is okay. The real reward that I want is like, spend more time with me. Right? I think that. So I think Raghu has always been there. So if you ask him again, maybe this is the question I'll ask.
Thanks a ton. Really grateful. I learned a lot. So it was a, extremely insightful and extremely deep conversation. I have to go back, rethink, watch it again.